Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 269. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, Montrell Rice. Montrell, how are you doing this week?
I'm all right. Kind of tired, but I'm all right. It's usually my day of resting.
I'm pretty grumpy today. It's been a bad week at work. I'm looking forward to my time off next week. It is coming at the perfect time. But anything fun in life going on?
No.
Boring times. Well, I went to the new HEB that opened up by my house on Saturday, and it was a fucking zoo. Like, it was fucking crazy. It was raining all day, and this dude, I tell you, I had to drive around the parking lot for like 15 minutes to even find a space. Like, it's that busy. It's pretty bonkers in there. It was like wall to wall people. Like, every aisle is just packed with people. You can't even like walk around. Like,
Yeah, I probably would have waited a couple of weeks. Like, let the spectacle fade and then go in there like a month
oh,
later.
I already did. It opened 2 weeks ago. You know.
Oh.
It's still like this. So I'm like, oh boy, like, you know, the lines out of the parking lot aren't really a thing anymore. They kind of did away with that, it looks like, but it's still so packed that there's no parking. Like, you can't get a spot. And I'm like, man, y'all needed a bigger lot, dude. This is crazy. So it was an interesting experience though. It's a nice, clean grocery store. Definitely has very nice produce and fresh meats and seafood and stuff. And baked goods. So very high quality stuff there. The hype, I don't know if the hype is fully real, but I've enjoyed what I've tried so far of the stuff I bought. So, but they also have a barbecue restaurant in the store though, like attached to the store, which
Okay.
we did have that on Sunday, and that was very, very good.
Okay.
So pretty excited to have that close by now, which is nice because the closest good barbecue place is Heart 8 and it's in Roanoke, which is it's probably a 20 to 25 minute drive from my house, so it's a little far. Whereas this is 5 minutes away, so which is great. So good stuff. It's fun. I always like going into a new grocery store, but I don't know if that busyness level maintains though going forward. I don't know if I'm gonna go there all the time. I don't think I can handle that shit, dude. Like,
It's probably one of those places you just gotta go in the morning, like first when it first opens up.
during the day, yeah. Going on an off day. Yeah. Yeah, because it was a Saturday. I figured if it was raining, people wouldn't be hoarding it as much on a rainy day, but it was the total opposite. Everybody had the same idea as me, I think. So it was good stuff. But all right, well, Montrell, let's just jump into the show here. We're recording a couple days early than normal to accommodate the NFL draft. We usually miss it every year because we usually record during the NFL draft, and I wanted to go this year. So, and actually, Montrell, I think you're coming with, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Pluckers and watch the draft live while eating wings, which is great. It's a perfect football pastime. So looking forward to that. So there are some stories you might see later in the week that we're not going to get to this week. Those will probably be on next week's show. But all right, let's get into the show proper though. For those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube Music. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter at The Player's Take, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com, and we will certainly answer it on the show. Montrell, let's just jump right into what we've been playing. You want to go first this week, or you want me to go?
You can probably skip me. I didn't really do too much these last since Thursday. I haven't really done too much. I've literally been studying all weekend. So
Gotcha. Well, that's not entirely true. We did play some League of Legends
on
Sunday.
Yeah.
That was a fun session. We had I don't know, we had some really bad randos a couple games, but then we did win. We did win. It was weird.
We were 3 for 4 that day. You know that,
Yeah,
right? You
no,
only
we
lost
won. We did. No, you're right. You're right. But our randos were like a-holes every game.
Yeah,
It was funny because the first game though, like it was, I didn't feel like we were particularly playing very well. Our randos kind of carried us actually, but they were assholes. Like they were annoying. Like one of them was just
yeah.
pinging all of us all the time, the whole fucking game. Um, and ended up just muting his ass. But so it was a fun session. But damn, am I rusty? I felt really rusty. Um,
Yeah, I'm probably
especially
just
like in the
gonna
mid game.
make it like a Sunday night thing for us or whatever. Like I think everybody's free around Sunday night.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a good thing to do before you go right back to work, in my opinion. So I felt pretty cool. And then we cut it off at a good time too. So I just played one. I played a couple of games of Helldivers, and
yeah,
then I went to sleep. And I wasn't upset or angry. So I think I think the
yeah. Yeah, I kind of would prefer Friday or Saturday to be honest with you, because then I can like
okay.
decompress on the rest of the weekend. I don't know, because I definitely was getting stressed out with it, even though we were winning. It just I don't know. The game does that to me, but um, I don't know. Whatever day works. If you can't play it, if you can only play on Sundays, then I'll probably still play on Sundays. But yeah, no, it was a fun time. It was fun to jump back into. Um, Game feels fine. Didn't seem like anything. I will say the tanks are still a problem in the game, even
Oh
with all
yeah,
the
100.
changes we
percent
talked about. Like
Yeah,
my
100%.
god, it's just like they do so much damage. They take all the damage. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like
Well, it's a twofold thing. Either there's too much damage. So right now, I think, in my opinion, at least, um, like assassins do a lot of damage, or they do no damage. Like it's either or. There isn't really a good middle ground right now. Actually, you know what? I think bruisers and tanks are like really good right now. Well, tanks are really good. I don't know about bruisers. But I think AP like bruisers are really good right now. I think mages are really good right now. They do a ton of damage, in my opinion. Um, I still think like AD assassins and AD and AP assassins, except for like Katarina, but she can build hybrid. Um, are like kind of in a bad spot. I don't know. It's just my champions are in a bad spot. I think Silas is in the kind of a B tier spot, even though like every thing says it's S tier, but I think he's in like a B tier spot right now because he just gets absolutely shitted on by some really good mages.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and I still think ADCs are in a really bad spot. You have to be really good to play ADC. And I think that's why the role is suffering so much because you have to be very cognizant of your movements and your farming and well how much the wave is pushed up and everything of that nature. If you're not, then you're going to get absolutely shitted on. But you weren't getting really shitted on down there at all. Which
no, it
lets me
was the
know that
late game I was having issues with,
yeah,
where I just wasn't. I wasn't keeping up with farm number one, and number two. I just felt like movement was a problem in the fights. Especially the first game when I was playing as Varus, dude, it just was miserable. Like I just was getting dived every fucking fight. The second I was like deliberately trying to wait for an opening to go in, and it just no matter what portion of the fight I jumped into, whether it was early, middle, or late in the fight, they were immediately turning on me and diving me. I think that's my problem with the role of ADC is because most characters, I will say, like characters like Varus, even Jin to an extent, like without some kind of escape or movement ability of some sort, if the enemy team does that where they focus you as the ADC, like they actually do that, which is what you should do, is just focus the ADC the second they show or they become visible. Is like there's not a lot they can do to get away, like you can be
yeah,
clever with flash, for sure, and if you're using ghosts that might help you out a little bit, but it's not going to save you from like a dash heavy character, or somebody like Katarina, for instance. It's a perfect example. Like that character will fucking wreck you,
yeah,
in the right hands. So it's like there's not much you can do to get away, and I think that's my issue with the role in general. Is I just think the way that Riot has designed it is its effectiveness is very dependent on how much the other team focuses on it. If they don't focus on that player a lot, then it can thrive. If they do focus on that player a lot, then there's really not a lot that player can do to mitigate that. And I'm not even just talking in fights. I just mean in general, like map presence and stuff. If you go bully the bottom lane, there's really not a lot the ADC can do. You know, you can try to lane swap, but then the team can just follow you. It's like it's not really a solution there. So I just think it's a problem with the structure of the game. It's always been there. It's just more stark some games than others. Some games the enemy team ignores the ADC for some reason, and you know, the in those games I usually run fucking buck wild. But um,
Yeah,
so
no,
I
I
don't know.
agree. I think what's happening is uh it's like a rework creep happening. And what mean by that is you only had a certain select of champions that can do actual dashes or blinks or something like that.
Oh
Like
yeah,
Katarina and Zed are pretty much the same as their old counterparts. I think Katarina got a mini rework. She did get a rework actually. Um like I think she got a VGU update, which is like a visual update, and then they reworked some of her skills, but I don't it's pretty much almost bar for bar the same Katarina, right? Whereas like Akali, she got reworked and she's nothing like the old Akali in my opinion at all. Um, I think the pretty much the only person that stayed the same as far as like classic assassins are is like Zed, right? So I mentioned those people because like obviously Katarina has a blink slash dash. Akali has a blink slash dash. A lot of junglers have a dash, and everything of that nature. And I think a lot of ADCs are still designed in a way or are still in the old school way of League. Like Varus is a perfect example of that.
hmm
He doesn't have any dashes or any getaways because the old school version of League was he was designed to be in the back line and there was going to be a front line for him. And that was like old school League.
yeah,
Um, I think Jin was a little bit of both because he has the movement speed. But
right,
the offset with him is he can't take down tanks as fast as like, Varus
right.
can or Twitch or something like that,
Or
right?
Trist or something. Yeah,
Or Trish, yeah, and even Trish, right? I think she's a really good design. She's really good in
she's
now because
survived the entire
yeah,
games. Yeah, right.
exactly because
But
she has that jump
She has a kit that's versatile.
exactly, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, so if you notice, the last couple ADCs that came out, they have dashes now. Like Samira, um, I forgot what's the
Nyla,
one girl, Nyla, um,
and then the little dragon.
the dragon guy, and then
What the fuck's her name? I don't remember.
yeah, and then Ziri,
Zeri.
the
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
she has a dash as well where she can jump over walls and stuff like that. And I think they designed them like that because they understand now the new version of League. Almost every reworked character has some kind of dash incorporated with it. I mean, even fucking Skarner can go through walls now, and it's not
Yeah,
necessarily a
but why are
dash,
they
but
leaving characters like Varus the way they are then?
I that's what I'm saying. Like I think Ash is okay because she has a built-in slow in her kit, right? So she can kite you out the way when you dash on her.
True.
It's more so like a positional thing, right? And then people will say, "Well, Varus has a root or whatever," and it's like that's not the point.
It's
The point
two
is,
seconds, bro. It's
yeah, like
it's so
I, I,
short.
I don't think like Varus to a certain extent. I think Kate is really bad right now. Every time someone picks Kate on my team, I literally fucking want to shoot myself in the
Really?
face
Because
because
she does
she's
have a little bit of movement.
yeah, but she's just so bad. She does no damage, bro. It's
Yeah,
actually
I
insane
know.
how much
It's
damage
always
she
been a problem with her. Like
yeah.
she's either like really good or really terrible. One or the
Yeah.
other.
Um the only character that I think is doing okay that has no movement except for when they get a takedown is Jinx. I think Jinx is busted right now. But she's a feast or famine champ. She
She
needs a
just
good
has a lot of damage in her kit.
yeah,
Like her
yeah,
her kit is really damage heavy. And I think
yeah,
Varus is kind of the same way. The problem with Varus is he has no movement speed in his kit though at all. He's just kind of a tank. Like he
yeah,
moves like a tank. Like he's very slow character. Even when I
yeah.
take Ghost, it's like like fuck me, dude. I can't get away from people.
Yeah, if you
Um,
notice, like a lot of the characters that are like safe, like Sivir, she has a fucking shield and she can use her R to like dash away because she has that R to
yeah,
make everyone go fast or whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, like Twitch has the invis. Um, trying to think of other maybe Kog'Maw. He's a classic. Like he's a classic character that has no.
Yeah, but
His
he
damage up
fucking
front,
dude,
yeah,
yeah, his damage is up. It doesn't matter if you get on him. If you aren't coming at him with two people at a time, if it's just you like solo, he'll kill you before you even get to him. Like
yeah,
his damage is so fucking insane.
yeah.
So
His damage is crazy.
Varus is
But
not like that. There is a significant setup required for his burst to kind of be effective. Unfortunately, like you have to either open with the R, like open with the alt, and if you do that, you're probably going to win the fight. Frankly, but if you don't, and they get on you, you have to shoot them 3 times before you can use your burst abilities. So it's I don't
yeah,
know.
your best, I guess, if you're playing Varus, your best bet is to save it for the assassin. Like you can't open with it. You have to just
Right.
rely on
Unless
your.
you're catching somebody, that's the only
Yeah,
right,
yeah, exactly. Unless you're catching
right.
somebody.
And I can't
Um,
like shoot it into the tanks, that's not an effective
exactly.
use of it
Yeah,
anymore. Like because it does spread, like that's the thing. The ult does spread to people around, so it can be effective shooting it into a group. But you don't want the first person you hit to be the tank necessarily, unless you're trying to save somebody, obviously,
yeah,
who's getting like chased or something. But that's the issue when I'm fighting it, because we were playing against like fucking Poppy and it's like, dude, what the fuck? She just runs circles around me.
yeah.
There's just
But
there's just
yeah,
like literally nothing I can do against that character.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I just think right now the way League is designed, classic characters like Varus, I think he's just stuck in the past right now. I actually think he needs a rework. It's gonna suck, but he needs some kind of dash or something to kind of accommodate for that, because not even the slow that you have built into your kit that gives you grievous wounds, that doesn't do anything. It's like a point 0.5 slow or whatever the case may be, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, um,
That ability,
yeah,
I think, is the big one that needs to be changed. The E, yeah,
yeah. Either make it like, because even Misfortune, right? She has built-in speed into her kit and everything like that. Like all the characters that are really good now have built-in speed, or they give them some kind of speed where they can get out of the situation. If you get an assist or whatever, or you're in a team fight with Jinx and you get an assist, then you can just speed out of there when you see the fight's going left, um, or whatever the case may be. I don't know. Um, Varus is one of those champions though, where he's stuck in the classic way. I can't really think of too many other champions though, because like, I mean, maybe you can say Ash, like I said, but she has that built-in slow. You don't really want to give her a dash, because if you give her a dash, then she's just
she'll
gonna
just
kite every.
kite people
Yeah,
endlessly. Yeah, she'd be oppressive. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the other
Like
ones.
Zaya has a
Ziggs
built-in.
maybe.
I mean, I still consider him a mid laner. Ziggs.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
but
Zaya.
he does have a built-in kind of dash. He can bounce off his bomb and get away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I guess that's true. And Zaya doesn't have a dash. She does have a move speed buff on her W.
And then her R can
Um,
give her
in her
invincibility
R,
frame.
yeah, she can be invincible and move backwards with that, and then she can
Yeah,
root people afterwards, so
exactly.
that'll help her get away. So she has means with which to escape.
Yeah.
Varus literally has his R. It's like you shoot the R
That's
and
it.
then you
Yeah.
run, and if they catch you after that, I mean, you throw an E in between you and them while the R is got them binded, but after that, I mean, good luck, bro. Like if they catch you after that, you're dead. Like you
Yeah.
better hope you were able to kill them. If they keep chasing.
Yeah, because even champions like Callista, she has her every auto, she like dashes
She
back or whatever.
dashes. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, yeah, all those characters are like,
Vayne dashes, right? Vayne has a
yeah,
dash.
Vayne. She has a tumble. She can, when she
Yeah.
goes R, she can go in Viz and
Go
stuff like that.
invis. And she can also, stun people into walls and shit too.
Yeah, like
Um,
her weakness is before level 6. After that, it's just like her mid
right.
game, post 15 minutes, she's dominating the game. After that, so or maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Varus
it's
has
like,
got to be on a list, man, that they have of like rework characters. He's got to be near the top, I would think.
I know they did a visual rework for him like years ago. But yeah, he needs a rework. I think he is one of the champions that needs a rework, because I can't really think of a champion, a immobile ADC other than Varus. I'm pretty sure there's another one out there, but for right now, I can't think of another one, because they all have clear means of escape. I mean, you can say maybe Jin, but like I said, once you get his crit build up, like he's fast as fuck, boy. You can't.
Yeah, and he has a root also, and yeah, his move speed gets fucking absurd at the end
Yeah,
of the game. Um, So he has plenty of means to get away. Like he moves so fast that there's very few characters that can keep up with his move speed late in the game.
Yeah.
Poppy might be one of them. Maybe a Vayne, because Vayne gets extra move speed when she's chasing somebody. So
Okay.
Vayne could probably keep up. Akali could keep up too if she hits her ultimate. Um, so there's definitely a few characters for sure, certainly, um, but yeah, no. And so Jin's okay. I don't think Jin doesn't feel bad. You just need to play him correctly. It's more along those lines. Varus though, sometimes I just feel like on certain team comps, like you just lose in character select.
I
Um,
forgot about Aphelios. Aphelios is maybe the only champion
oh,
that doesn't
yeah.
really have like a means to get away. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really big problem for that character too, now that I think
Yeah.
about it. That's the thing with Aphelios players that always happens. When they commit, they don't I mean, they're
Yeah,
committing.
they have to commit. Yeah.
There's no escape, which I do that with Varus a lot. I just think the thing is like Aphelios and Varus are kind of similar in this way. They have very um it's not most players underestimate how much damage they can put out early in the game. And that's kind of the thing with both of them. And I take advantage of that as Varus. And I've played against the Phelios players who do the same thing. If people try to push onto you too early, you can kill them pretty easily. But it also depends on the comp too. So and also how the engagement starts. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, the tier list kind of corroborates right now what we're saying. Nyla is A plus or S plus, and I believe that every time
she's
I play with
been
the
S
Nyla,
plus, bro.
yeah,
She's
every
been
time I
S
play with the
plus.
Nyla player who knows how to play with her, we win the game because she's so fucking busted, in my
No, she's
opinion.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's crazy.
But yeah, Virus at the bottom of the list. He's a D tier right now. All the immobile champions are D tier. So like Varus, Kaisa, she doesn't really have any.
Oh yeah,
She has that
Kaisa. That's a
dash,
good one.
but that's about. It's a
Nah,
small little
she's
dash.
terrible. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's really bad. She's even worse than
Aphelios.
Varus actually, because she doesn't have any kind of root or anything really.
Exactly. Yeah,
Um,
she's completely dependent. So like this is interesting, right? I'm looking at the tier list, and it's like it's champions that are completely dependent on their ADCs, which is funny because Callista's here, but she also doesn't get played that much, in my
yeah,
opinion. I think she has one of the lower pick rates.
yeah,
But Smolder's down there, but he got nerfed a lot too, also because he was just fucking insane at one point when he first
hmm
got released.
yeah,
But Israel's there. He's D tier, but he's also not. He's a skill shot champion, like
yeah.
you have
Right,
to
and he
really
has
know
a
how to
built he
play
has
as
a
him.
built-in blink too. So
Yeah,
I
but
will say
yeah.
actually, Ez is kind of an interesting one though, in the sense that he has nothing other than that blink. Um, if he's in the wrong place on the map, the blink's not enough to get you away
Oh yeah,
necessarily.
100%.
So
You're gonna get caught. Yeah,
yeah, because he has no movement slow ability at all in his kit. He doesn't have any kind of root or stun or anything. So
yeah. I mean the characters that have like only person that is S tier right now, but he's well, we already talked about how broken he is Kog'Maw, and it's because his upfront damage is so good that it doesn't matter if you blink on him. He's gonna fucking kill you before you can get to him. Like,
before you can even react, bro, like
yeah,
it's
man.
crazy. His attack speed, as soon as he gets boots, his attack speed is unreasonable. I feel like
Yeah,
it's out of control like immediately. Like he's just attacking so quickly. It's crazy how much damage he puts out.
yeah. So, um, I mean, the tier list kind of corroborates what we're saying. Like, Varus is definitely the worst champion right now. I don't think any amount of buffs can help him. Like, they need to rework him. Him and
No,
Kai'Sa is
yeah,
definitely.
numbers aren't going to help him. Items might, but that would require bringing back things like Gale Force, which then helps other characters. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's not really purposeful in that regard. And like, dude, I think this is the issue for Varus too. Is he just doesn't have a lot of defensive options. Like Shield Bow sucks at this point. Right now where it is. So it's like that's not really a viable item for him to be buying. And I've seen Terminus as like a big item for him, which would give him some defensive protection, I guess. into his kit, but then you're kind of split. You're kind of building him as on hit damage, which I don't really like that build on Varus, frankly. I prefer like a more of a crit build right now. But I got to try it more, I guess. So it's kind of weird. I don't know. But yeah, league is fun. I think playing it sporadically is the correct approach for us. Like we got to just take that game in moderation. I don't think we can't get back to the point where we're playing every week. Otherwise, we're just gonna want to murder ourselves. So, um, outside of League, I'm still playing Unicorn Overlord. I'm not done with the game, but I'm getting there. I'm getting close. I'm probably halfway through the final continent right now, final region in the game, and then basically there's a few battles after that, and then I go do the end game. It looks like. So I'm getting close to the end of this game. I'm hoping by the next time we record, I'm done with this game because I'm definitely I've definitely hit my fatigue point. I'm ready to go. I'm kind of tired of the game. It's just so much. I'm close to hitting 100 hours in the game at this point. And I'm just ready to put it down now. But I will say I did like redo all my squads over the weekend, and I kind of had to do that like one more push to like redo all my squads one more time before the end of the game. And I did make some fun comps that I'm very happy with. I didn't I kind of figured out how to do this on my own, but I had already heard about it. There's a squad comp called the Trinity Rain comp where you Trinity Rain is basically an AoE skill that hits every enemy in the battle, and it's a charge skill though. So the character who uses it has to charge it for a certain number of actions in order to cast it. But basically, there's a setup you can do where you make the mage who has that skill go first. They'll start charging Trinity Rain, and then there will be another character that immediately gifts them another action, which makes the charge happen instantaneously. So basically they're immediately hitting the enemy with the Trinity Rain, and then I put an item on the sorceress in this case, or the witch. I think is what their class is called. I put an item on her that lets her recast the last spell that she cast, so she's casting Trinity Rain twice, like twice in a row at the beginning of combat. So it's kind of a it kills most enemy units pretty handily, unless they can somehow tank the damage, which they really haven't been able to do. Two casts of that skill is a lot. It hits really, really fucking hard. But I will say there are some counters to it that I've definitely run into in the arena, like the PvP part of the game. But for the most part, it's really cool, and I was kind of happy to like put it together. It was really fun to like figure out how to set the gambits or tactics or whatever in such a way to make the skill work the way I was trying to make it work. And when I finally figured it out, it was fucking nasty, dude. You're just like going around and everything just immediately dies. Like they don't even get to take a turn. It's fucking bullshit. But so it was pretty cool to set up. But there are counters to it. The game is not. It's not kind of like an end all. Like it doesn't win everything in the game. If the enemies survive the initial kind of blast of the skill, then your squad is just completely opened up to get destroyed after that. So that's kind of the issue with it, that strategy. But in the single player mode, you can literally just avoid enemies that cause you problems with that squad. So yeah, it was pretty cool. And then I built some other squads. I built like 2 flyer squads and then 2 cavalry squads, which are both pretty effective in the game. So I'm still enjoying that part of the game, but I will say when you get to a certain point with this game, it just kind of becomes going through the motions, because once you figure out comps that are like, end all be all that just kind of wreck everything, like that one I just mentioned, you're really just going through the motions. There's not a lot of strategy involved. You're just kind of walking towards the enemy until you fight them and they die, and then you just keep doing that until you win the battle. There's
Mhm.
not a lot of like super strategic stuff going on, in some of these battles. So, but I will say the battles are still getting bigger somehow too. It's like these maps are fucking huge, man. Later in the game, where you're fighting, like you're like going through like a huge chunk of the continent that you're on, and fighting like multiple different directions at the same time and shit, which is cool. But it's at the same time, I'm just like I just kind of want to get through this at this point. Um, so yeah. Um, Montrell, what about you? You playing anything other than League or not really?
Not really, unfortunately. Like I said, I just been studying. I'm scared to commit to a single player game right now, so
Yeah.
um, I'm just trying to wait it out and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like my last class, I'll be doing primarily online, so I'll be having a lot more time to actually
Oh, gotcha.
divvy up my time. Um,
Okay.
I kind of
Is
just
that
wanted
when
to get. I'm
when does
sorry.
that start?
In May, the
Okay.
middle of May. So
Nice.
yeah, I kind of just wanted to. I wanted to do the first two classes first, just to get back into the swing of things. 'Cause I haven't worked on command line since Container Store. Um, Even at my new job, we work with Cisco Meraki, but it's all through the dashboard. We never touch command
Yeah, you
line
don't
at
do command
all.
line. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to go into the class and get my, just get into the material. And then now that I have a good grasp of the material, I can swap to offline or online only now, which I think is a good thing. So I have a lot more free time and I can, divvy up my studies a lot better and everything of that nature.
Should have more
Um,
free time. Yeah.
yeah. So
Right.
that's I am looking forward to it because I could say I get to catch up on a lot of games.
Yeah, man, you're
That
missing out. It's all the good
Yeah,
shit.
I still gotta play a ton of games that I just did not have the time to play. So I definitely will not take gaming for granted over the next like year or so. But I'm still gonna be studying a ton because I'm studying for the exam. I'm gonna take it in October, November. So
Yeah.
or yeah, October, November, whatever. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting. I will say this though, not to I know this is a video game podcast, but I will urge people to get back into networking more than cybersecurity. I see an ungodly amount of people. Apparently, the CCNA
Mm,
course is a part of the cybersecurity course. I didn't know that because I'm
that
not really
makes
into
that
cyber.
actually that makes a lot of sense. I feel like
Yeah, because
you need
yeah,
that
you
baseline.
Yeah, you do learn a lot about network security in the CCNA portion of it. Now when you become like a CCNP, then it gets more into the weeds and then obviously you can go into different branches of your CCIE. There's like a CCIE for network security, there's a CCIE for routing and switching and all this other stuff like that where you specialize in one. It's almost like, going from like uh, um RPG class or whatever. Like you start off as a rogue, and then now you're a bandit, and or you start off as a bandit, you go into a rogue, and now you can specialize to either a ninja, a fucking
Assassin or yeah.
assassin or something like that, or um, night hunter or some bullshit. I don't know. But yeah, so that's what it's kind of structured like. But I've been talking to like a lot of cybersecurity people and people who are actually in the field and everything, and they said there's so many people joining the field that it's becoming oversaturated, and the one field that's actually lacking is networking. Like a lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
don't want to do networking at all.
Oh yeah, it
Um,
makes a lot of sense. It's not a networking is it's like a it's kind of a hard part of the field because you really need to know your shit in networking.
yeah, yeah,
You can't bullshit your way through a networking job. you
yeah,
know, you need to know how a network operates. In order to support it, defend it. From a security standpoint, but also design it and build it. And I think anyone in security needs to have that baseline also. Otherwise, you're just going to be missing a huge part of the vocation. I feel like because you're as much as you're going to have a network engineering team probably at whatever company you would work at, it's going to be difficult for you to have security conversations with them if you don't understand how their world operates.
yeah.
Also, I will say security is it's kind of weird that so many people want to get into security. I feel like people think it's like a cushy part of IT or something.
They do. I no,
Because it's not.
that's
It's
100% what
definitely
it
not.
is.
Yeah.
I'm 35, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily young, right? But I'm in there and there are people older than me in this class. And I'm like, oh, so are you just trying to get your, maybe I'm thinking they're like, just doing IT and they're like, oh, I want to take another step or I just want to get a CCNA to upgrade my pay or whatever. And they're like, no, I'm going for cybersecurity. And these are like 50, 60-year olds in there.
It's
And I'm
crazy.
like, I'm like, I think it's just the pay, like the pay grade. I mean,
The
don't
pay
get
is
me
big.
wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Like, there are plenty of jobs out there for cybersecurity because it is like the second revolution of it's going to be, in my opinion, as far as like people who can manage it, it's almost going to be like the automation of the automobile, right? How we needed plants and everything. We had plants and we needed people to be there. It's going to be a second migration or whatever, third migration. I think a lot of
Mhm.
people are going to switch gears over to cybersecurity because it's just that big of a threat, um to like national security, to company security and everything of that nature, which is odd because I still believe companies aren't taking it seriously at
They're
all.
not. No, I mean, well, that was the other point I was going to make is I think anybody wanting to get into security, like cybersecurity right now, I would actually encourage them to start lower, like aim lower,
Yes.
because
Yep.
you're not going to get hired into a company directly into a security team if you have no security experience, you know? That is almost never going to happen because we've talked about it in this show in relation to video games. The Apex Legends security team is 5 people, like for a game as huge as Apex Legends, that's what you're going to be dealing with. Like most companies don't have very large security teams. Like it's going to be less than 5 people probably. At any company, I'm sure Walmart has like a giant one. Gigantic companies like that are kind of a
Yeah,
different
like
beast, right?
so
But
so the big companies like, Google, Amazon, those have really big security teams.
right.
But even big, right, is like 30 people. like
Yeah, yeah,
like
and and like good luck getting directly hired in there as like a
yeah.
junior level security person. Like that's my point. Like you need to start lower. Like you need to get into start with like desktop support, get into like infrastructure support, infrastructure operations, and then work your
Mhm.
way into engineering roles, and then you can make that pivot into security at some point, like kind of later in your career. I'm not saying 50, 60, but like, probably in your mid to late 30s, you probably could make that jump.
Yeah, because I'm
Um,
just trying to get into infrastructure support. Like, I
yeah,
don't really want to be a full-fledged network engineer, even though my CCNA, once I get it, will qualify me to be a network engineer. Well, I'll be a junior network engineer, but I'll be a full-on like
yeah,
network specialist, right? That's what I want to
right.
be. I want to be a network specialist. I don't want to be an engineer because I even building stuff out in packet tracer stresses me the fuck out because I'm like, man, did I build this correctly? And I start second like guessing myself and everything like that. So it's like, um, once I get a little bit more comfortable in it and actually doing it in a more enterprise environment like I was doing it before,
Yeah,
but on a, I'll be more comfortable with it. But yeah, I just wanted to, just take that time out to say that for a lot of people trying to get into cybersecurity, it's not for the weak. And also, yeah, I like Justin said, I would recommend you start off with it's gonna fucking suck, but you have to start with like desktop support. You have to start out because you have to see the signs. A lot of people think, network security is like, you put on your fucking black glasses and you got your fucking matrix coat on, and you're like, I'm in. And you're, you're fucking Trinity and fucking Neo at the computer, and you're like, you got fucking,
oh my
techno
god.
music going on. That's not network security. Vast majority of fucking network security shit, or not network security, I'm sorry, cyber security shit happens. You know how it happens? It happens through fucking social engineering.
Yeah.
Almost 75% of attacks are like, and I'm not joking, you look that number up. Like 75% of like cybersecurity attacks are from fucking network engineering. And that's like, oh, maybe somebody talked to you on the phone and they just figured out where you were at. And then they fucking stalked an employee, and they knew an employee was there, and they,
Hmm.
maybe got their information that way or something like that. Like, it's just, it's just wild. Like somebody clicked on the incorrect link or something like that.
Well, dude, that I think that's a component of cybersecurity that because the word cyber is in the name or the description of what it is. Physical security is a part of security, and it should be a part of security and
Yes.
technology. It is not, like, it's really not viewed that way, but it should be. Like like the technology security team should be involved in the discussions around physical security, like building security, things like that. Like that's usually handled at a more of a facilities level, for most companies. And those two teams should be talking to each other though. Like it shouldn't be a thing that like the technology team is not responsible for physical security at all, you know. Like they should be involved in that design discussion, frankly. But they're not generally, and they don't really look at themselves that way. Like they don't care about that kind of thing. They're more concerned with network security and email phishing, email type security, that kind of thing. But it's like, to Montrell's point, a lot of breaches happen due to physical security problems, not anything to do with your network.
Yeah,
So
like there's a whole YouTube video about how a YouTuber, um, I actually feel bad too because he got the security staff fired, but he broke into fucking Gatorade and was like on the one of the levels where they shoot the commercials and shit like that, and people genuinely thought he was there to shoot the commercial. And he was like, "No, I just social engineered my way in." Like, so imagine there are people who can do that for like fucking security, network security or cybersecurity shit. Like they're like, "Oh, I'm here to clean out your vents inside your fucking server room or something like that," right? And the next thing you know, they can just plug a USB or something like that, gain a whole bunch of information, use a wire shark or something like that, and get a whole bunch of packets and stuff like that, and that's it. Like they got you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really easy sometimes when you think about like how limited a lot of security places are. Because when people think of security, they think like some fucking crazy person coming in there. It's like sometimes it can just be a person in UPS fucking uniform, and they can gain access that way or whatever. And I don't know. Yeah, cybersecurity is going to be very interesting though. Within the next 15 years, I'm genuinely going to be curious how the workforce looks.
yeah,
Because I don't think, in my opinion, me personally, I don't think a lot of people are taking it seriously, even the people that are trying to get into it.
well,
And
they're
that's
gonna
no
wash
shade to,
out, dude.
yeah,
Like,
and that's no shade to anybody who's trying to get into it right now. But I genuinely think you don't understand what it requires. I actually think the tech space in general is gonna kind of be washed out
yeah,
because you got a lot of coders and everything of that nature. And ironically, the job that's like looked down on the most is me and your job, and that's
yeah,
gonna
I
be
know,
the
and
one that
it's the most essential though. It's like one of
exactly.
they're like the most essential jobs. It's so funny to me that support is like viewed that way because, um, to be frank, like the engineers at my company could probably all leave, and it would be a problem to a degree, but as long as we had like a support structure, we could at least maintain what we have until we could get like new people, right? Um, but it's like if the support people walked out, like I feel like the company would slowly just like crater, as issues piled up and no one's fixing them, over
Yeah,
time. And it's like, it's just, I don't know. And
you
it
know, you're right.
frustrates me. It definitely
I,
frustrates me.
and just to bring you back to video games, like yeah, like it frustrates me as well. To the point where I had to like beg for a person, like a level one person. Um, but it's just like I feel like video games is the same way. I feel like before these breaches happen, the only company I will say 100% that takes their security very fucking seriously, unironically, is fucking League of Legends.
Yeah.
They're the only game company I know where they're literally paying people up to $10,000 to $100,000 to break Vanguard. They're like, we want you to fucking break it because we want the security, whatever. So they got a bounty out on their own security program for that. Whereas the other companies, I don't feel like they're taking it seriously enough.
Hmm.
And I know like a lot of game companies have like badges and stuff like that and everything of that nature. But I feel like it's just so easy to walk into a game company. Like I feel like it would be just super. All I gotta do is kind of blend in, like kind of dress like them and everything, and then I
Yeah.
can just walk in or whatever the case may be. And then on top of that, I think also like uh I don't know how they treat their actual IT support as well. So like you may have like disgruntled employees and stuff like that from like IT and stuff like that. And it's like it's a double-edged sword with IT. And I don't know. I just never hear about when I see new job postings or whatever from these studios, right? I never see like IT people needed. I never see security people needed. Network security or cybersecurity
It's
people
very
needed.
rare.
IT support needed. I never see it at all. If it is, it's like a third party company that they're lending it out to that's like overseas. And I'm like, you need an on site IT person, like in my opinion. So that's
Oh
just
my
my
god, absolutely, dude.
if you're a game company or you're up and coming game company, unless you're like a self made gaming company who knows how to do your own computers and stuff like that. But if you get like the funds and the means to open up a studio, you need bare minimum at least one IT guy there. Like you need one. Like
Yeah.
like
I
you know
out dude, I've done the outsourcing thing, right? Like my company has been doing it for a few years now. And I'll just tell you like straight up, like these people are not they're not worth the money that you pay for them. Like they're if you hired somebody, trained them up, and got them invested in the company and in their role, like they're worth double what the best of these outsourced people are probably worth. Like the worst, they're worth I can't even give you a number, like 10 times, 20 times. Like the worst of the outsourcing folks are just completely fucking useless. They can't do anything. Like they need to be told exactly what to do step by step. They can't deviate from the instructions at all. They have no capacity to do that. Um like these are people that don't belong in the realm they're in, you know. So yeah, I know I'm firmly against outsourcing in the IT world. I think it's like such a dumb concept. It like conceptually in it as like theory, it makes sense because you for the most part outside of certain roles at like the lower levels of support, like desktop support, and then your first level support, even your first level support can be outsourced. Actually, it's really desktop where you kind of need people physically present, on site at a location to do stuff. But they can't. I don't know. I don't feel like they are able to do that work very well. At least the outsourcing I've experienced. I'm sure there are companies that do it really well. But what I've experienced so far, and I mean, I've done it with one company directly, but I mean, I've interacted with contractors from probably three different companies that do outsourcing, and none of them have impressed me. I don't think they're very good. So
yeah, no, you're right. Um So yeah, that's my hot take on IT, especially within gaming.
yeah,
I think I think game companies. I wish we were bigger because I wish like game companies were listening to us. Um, because I feel like that's a really big thing. If I go to EA's website like right now, they don't have. I'm pretty sure they don't have like positions for IT. And if it is, it's like our customer support technical team is like I don't want to
yeah.
be a third party contractor. I want to be actually inside the building working
Or
on
it's
the
like an
computers.
on-site asset type
Yeah,
role.
exactly.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't even have an asset management team. Like it's just I just that's just my 2 cents. Yeah. I think as big as the industry is, it still has a lot of faults that need to be plugged in. And unfortunately, in the industry in that slight decline, I don't think they're going to be plugged up any soon. I think we're probably even going to see more breaches now, in my opinion, because they're probably
yeah.
laying a lot of people off.
No, I mean they should be taking security way more seriously too, right? Like their games, they take payment directly from people in their games. They have people's personal information um, in all these systems for account management type stuff. So it's like you have personal information that can be hacked and obtained and utilized by bad actors, and it's just crazy to me that they don't take that responsibility more seriously. I guess it's kind of crazy how few like how little most companies take it seriously actually in general, but it's especially true in games though because it's so active. The engagement is so active and constant um, that you're risking a lot by not having a competent support team or an on-site support team or security team especially too. It's like I don't know. Yeah, I'm totally with you on it on that. All right, Montreal. We've been going for 50 minutes almost already
Oh
somehow.
shit! I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
No idea. So let's get into the news. before we get lost in another tangent. All right, Macho. We do have a few stories this week, despite the fewer days between recordings. So we actually have some interesting topics to discuss. So the first one is Embracer Group. We've been talking about them for years on this podcast, and the insanity with them continues as they spiral and attempt to save themselves and make themselves somewhat viable in some way. So Embracer Group is splitting into three distinct companies, and those companies are going to be Asmodee, which is a board game, primarily a tabletop game company. That's most of what the products they make are centered around, whether that's accessories for games or games themselves. And then Coffee Stain is going to be a double A games publisher, primarily focused on double A games. And they are going to have they're gonna have a certain amount of IP that they're getting with this deal. And the last one is going to be Middle Earth Enterprises and Friends, which is going to be Embracer proper. I believe they're going to be changing their name or keeping the Embracer name, more than likely. But here's kind of the IP breakdown of how this is going to end up working. So, Asmodee is going to be getting or going to keep roughly they've more a large portfolio, more than 300 owned IPs, which includes Ticket to Ride, Seven Wonders, Azul, Catan, Dobble, and Exploding Kittens, and many, 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 many others. Asmodee is huge. They are my preferred board game accessory distributor that I purchase stuff from personally, and they have a lot of games that are very good. Many of the ones I just mentioned, in fact, are very good board games. So, however, Asmodee as is also as part of this getting 900 million, I believe it's euros, in debt from Embracer that they are just getting saddled with. And Embracer is basically removing that debt and giving it to them as they separate them off. Um, Coffee Stain, which is actually going to be called Coffee Stain and Friends as well, is going to be getting the basically the publishing groups and development teams of, and this isn't all of them, but Coffee Stain itself, THQ Nordic, Amplifier Game Invest, Ghost Ship, Tarsier, Tuxedo Labs, and a few more studios. And then in the IP space, they're going to be getting ones such as Deep Rock Galactic, Goat Simulator, Satisfactory, Wreckfest, Teardown, and Valheim. And then in the free to play realm, they're going to be getting games including Easy Brain, Deca, these are studios: Easy Brain, Deca, Crazy Labs, and Cryptic. Which some of the games that they handle are Sudoku.com, interesting, Blockudoku, Jigsaw Puzzle, and that's all that is listed that I'm looking at here. And then so that's Coffee Stain. And then Middle Earth Enterprises and Friends, which is going to continue to be the Embracer Group proper, is going to get the studios of Crystal Dynamics, Dam Buster, Eidos Montreal, Flying Wild Hog Studios, Tripwire, Vertigo Games, Warhorse Studios, and 4A Games. Those are kind of the biggest names that they're getting. In terms of IP, they're going to be getting Lord of the Rings, Tomb Raider, Middle Earth Enterprises, Middle Earth, which is the Lord of the Rings stuff, Dead Island, Killing Floor, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Metro, and Deus Ex, amongst other things as well. So this is kind of a huge move. This seems like the only way Embracer was going to be able to manage to go forward was to do something along these lines. They are removing a huge amount of their debt as part of this. Somewhere in this article, it did mention that Embracer is only going to have basically half a year of their operating income as debt. So they'll be able to, basically what that means is they'll be able to pay off the debt they have with a year of their operating income. Asmodee, on the other hand, is getting nearly 4 years worth of debt from Embracer in the 900 million euros of debt that they're going to be getting. So this is a big deal. Um, Things will change. They're independent entities now. They are not associated in any way, really. Like there will be continue to be deals between them. Like they'll work with each other and stuff like that. But they're not officially together anymore. Like they're not part of a group now. They're not part of the same company. They're three separate companies. So this is a big move. Montrell, what is your impression on first blush of everything I just mentioned?
So my thing with the debt thing, how does that work?
Yeah, that's the part I'm a little fuzzy on, unfortunately. I couldn't find a ton of information on how this works. But Embracer owned all of these studios, right? Like everything that is getting divested. So I think as part of they're basically letting them go free, essentially. But I think as part of that, in order for them to kind of go free, they saddled Asmodee with the debt. You know, that was like they're basically saving themselves the money, essentially. And Asmodee must have agreed to that in some form or fashion, I would assume. Like there's some deal behind the scenes regarding that. But since they owned all of these, I guess they can just do that. It just seems I don't know. I didn't unfortunately I didn't get a chance to do any research on it. Like, is this a common thing that companies do? Because it seems really fucked up, you know, that you're gonna you as the big large entity that owns everybody fucked up and has a shitload of debt that you can't pay down and you're gonna saddle that on a you're gonna like split off some of your companies as a lesser entity and you're gonna saddle them with a ton of your debt. Like that seems really fucked up on the surface to me.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, yeah, I wasn't able to like deep dive and like get any more info than that on it.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems really weird how that's working. I mean, good for them on breaking up, but hopefully we don't have to hear about them anymore because it's like I've honestly been tired of that company being in the news from the fucking uh couture leaks and all the other shit like that or couture
Which is
things
not part
to
of them anymore. Saber broke off,
yeah, exactly. So
right?
um I don't know. It was really weird and we were covering it during the COVID times. We thought it was weird. And I think we also made the bet that it's not gonna last long. It was
Yeah.
too much to sustain. And
No, they got up to
uh
like 130 or 140 development studios or something at their peak,
yeah,
which was
and we know why
completely
they're
insane.
yeah, we know why, because they were trying to sell themselves out to like some bitch or some bitch, some
Saudi,
big
yeah,
rich company or whatever the case may be. So
and it didn't work. Yeah, I'm assuming somebody, whoever that was, started getting a deeper look into the books and was like, this is a terrible purchase." So, they got out, and then Lars Wingefor is the CEO of the whole thing. You know, started doing what he had to do, but he created this beast in the first place. So it's just like I don't know. The fact that they even exist, that they're even going to exist at all going forward, is kind of crazy to me. But hopefully, they learn their lesson with the acquisitions. Like, frankly, I kind of hope all these companies learn their lessons with the fucking acquisitions, where they like don't just sell themselves fucking willy nilly to the first person who shows up with money. Maybe actually look into your partner and see if it's a smart move to do business with them. And let yourself be acquired because you're risking your entire studio, when you do something like that, when you let yourself get acquired by somebody who's not financially solvent. um and you're putting a lot of people's jobs on the line, you're putting IP on the line, you're putting your creative, even your own creative energies as like a owner of a studio on the line. So I just don't think that's worth it in a kid. Like there should have been red flags here. Some of these people should have said no. Like, I mean, dude, some of the studios that I mentioned here and games that I mentioned, it's just such a random fucking assortment of games.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I don't like why the fuck does Embracer own Warhorse Studios? Like, what the fuck? You know? And like Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics, like what? Like I know, like obviously they bought them on the cheap from Square, but it's just like it feels like a soccer mom who can't like control themselves, when Kohl's puts their entire store on sale every week and they're like, oh, it's all on sale, oh my god, and they go like spend $1,000 in the fucking store when you don't have $1,000, like you're putting it on credit, which is literally what they're doing, like literally what they did. They took on debt to buy these studios, um and then they couldn't make enough money to then pay the debt down, and that put them in a position where they basically were fucking upside down, um so which caused this whole thing to happen, that's been going on for the past year now. So it's just, I hope it's a lesson for the whole industry, really. um that like you got to be a little bit more careful with this. It's like if Microsoft's coming at you, sure, that's one thing, but this isn't Microsoft. Embracer Group was never Microsoft. They were never anything close to that. um so, and even with a partner like Microsoft too, you like, I'd almost want to be careful in a case like that too, if you want to get purchased by them, because Microsoft is so huge that they could just close all the studios in their gaming division and like probably not even care. I mean, that's probably not true with the Activision teams now, a part of them, but before that, like, dude, if they close Ninja Theory, who gives a fuck? That's a small ass team. What does that mean to Microsoft? Like, it's like fucking minuscule, Um, Double Fine, like they're another one. It's like like they're not making games that are selling millions of copies, So I don't know. I guess Ninja Theory is technically, but it's not the millions that Microsoft wants,
Yeah.
in terms of like Sony numbers. So
Yeah, no, I just thought it was I don't know. Even when it was happening, like when we saw it happening live, I thought it was weird that they were acquiring all these companies and stuff like that. And unfortunately, now we're seeing what happened with that. So I don't know. I think COVID was an interesting time for video games. I don't think we're ever going to see anything like this ever again. But
yeah.
yeah,
All right. Fair enough. Let's move on to our next story. This one is really fucking weird. So I need to set the stage a little bit here. Um, so there's a studio, or there was a studio called Possibility State, which was founded about 3 years ago by the State of Decay creator Jeff Strain, who left the State of Decay studio a while back, and then he created this studio. And him and the studio had some unknown partner they were working on a game with. It was heavily thought to be Xbox and Microsoft of some sort, but um, this happened on last week, or actually, it's been a couple weeks now since this happened. But there was a email that went out to staff, and he basically shut the studio down in this email, fired everybody, and said, "See you later." So I'm gonna read the whole email, and then we can go into it here. So this will be a long one, so buckle up. Quote: Last week, late last week, I received a list of topics and questions from Ethan Gotch, a reporter at Kotaku, regarding an article he's writing about Printania Media and the closure of Crop Circle Games. Much of it was expected, but I was also stunned to see non-public information about Project Vonnegut, which that's the game they've been working on. Disclosure of our publishing partner with details of our business and financial relationship and details of internal P&L discussions and confidential all-company meetings. Mr. Gotch specifically credits current employees as the source of his information. Leaks of this nature are typically malicious and done by outside hacking, so to see internal team members under a confidentiality agreement engage in this was shocking. Given the company's own strict confidentiality and notification obligations, I immediately got on a plane for an in-person meeting with our publishing partner to discuss the impact on the project. During that discussion, our partner expressed low confidence they would be willing to invest the additional resources needed to complete the game, so we mutually agreed to cancel Vonnegut. As a result of the cancellation of the publishing relationship, and after careful consideration, I am closing Possibility Space. Today is your last day of employment at Possibility Space and Britannia Media. Your final paycheck, including pay for work through the end of today, will be deposited to your account along with any other required payments as dictated by your work location. For employees located outside the United States, today will serve as your first day of your notice period and your final day of employment is currently scheduled for April 19th, 2024. However, all non-U.S. employees, like their U.S. peers, will have no work obligations after today. In addition, all employees affiliated through a PEO will have their employment separation processed according to applicable law. It will take a few more days to finalize details of the termination agreement with our publishing partner, calculate our tax, insurance, vendor, and contractor obligations, and any other outstanding liabilities, and then determine what we can offer for severance. I've retained a DC based global law firm to oversee the wind down of the studio. An employment attorney from that firm will soon follow up to your personal email address with additional details, and that person will be your direct point of contact from HR on all matters related to your employment, including continuation of insurance benefits, severance payments, and or associated separation agreements. A copy of this email has also been sent to your personal email address. You may keep your development equipment provided you permanently delete all company information, confirm you have done so in writing, and strictly abide by your existing confidentiality obligations, including proper handling of company IP and other confidential and prosperity information. This confirmation will be coordinated through the forthcoming communications noted above. As of today, I am stepping away from the game industry to focus on my family and care for Annie. I wish all of you the best as you navigate this complex industry and the challenges and opportunities ahead. Jeff, end quote. So this is crazy. Yeah. So basically, whatever information that Ethan Gotch seemingly indicated that he had was in some way damning or concerning enough to their publishing partner that it caused them to want to cancel the game and end the relationship, basically. Whatever that information was, we don't know. I mean, I don't want to speculate too much, but I mean, it could be anything ranging from trade secrets on the game to information about the development of the game to personal things about Jeff Strain to who knows. You know, it could be anything along those lines. So, but it's a very interesting situation. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in video games. But he basically just called it. He's just like, I'm done. Fuck y'all. I'm out. Peace. You know, like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like, where did that come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
I mean,
to me,
it could.
it sounds like it almost at first it sounds like someone else wanted to like the partner really wanted to just close it, and then he just called it. He couldn't save it. He couldn't salvage it or anything like that, and
Yeah.
that's what he just closed it. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, I don't know about you, but
But I mean, yeah, but I don't know. Some of the second paragraph, you know, where he talks about the leaks, almost feels a little butthurt. Like why would you, why would you leak this information? You know, to somebody outside the studio. You know, it's like why would you do this to us? You know, kind of vibe. I kind of feel I'm getting here from what was written. Like almost a sense of betrayal. You know, like why would you betray the company like this? You know, kind of thing, which is, I mean, it is fair. Leaking to a reporter is as common as it is a serious thing to do when you work for a company, you know.
yeah, exactly. I think. I mean, I understand it. I get it. I I don't know if I would take it to that extreme, but I also don't know his mental state. He could have been like, maybe these are company or employees that he thought he considered close to or something of that nature. I don't know.
Hmm.
It could just be one of those things or whatever. So I don't know, man. Like it's not weird. It does suck, but we also don't know what game it was. But I mean, leaks
Well,
have been killing games,
yeah.
you know. So
Well,
uh,
and I mean, he opened the studio in 2021, and they've been working on the game since. So to lose that funding and agreement to make the game, I mean, it kind of left him with three options: was to either A, if possible, continue working on Vonnegut while they try to find another partner, like another publishing partner to publish the game, if that was possible. if the game in question was an IP that the publisher held, then that wouldn't have been an option. Number two would have been to spin up a new game and try to find some kind of publishing partner for it, or funding of some sort, whether that was through a publishing deal or some other means. And then try to make a new game. Or the third option is what he did here, which is just close the studio. So typically most companies try their absolute fucking damnedest to stay open and would have pursued one of the first two options. That's my point. We've never really seen somebody just like take this action before with a game studio, where they're just like, you know what? Nope, fuck it, we're done. It's like it's like the abruptness of it is crazy too. I mean, he literally sends this email and that's it, dude. Like you're done. You read this and you're like, oh, I'm fired. Like literally they could have been like coding something for the fucking game, as they got this email. Most of them probably were, So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty nuts.
I'm not saying I'm on his side, but I definitely understand. Um,
Well, he
I
owns the
understand.
studio, so it's his call
Yeah,
ultimately. I mean, there's probably a nicer way to have done this, frankly, but at the end of the day, he doesn't have to do that. He really just has to abide by law wherever his people are employed. So, because yeah, it is funny, the ones that weren't in the U.S. They're technically employees of the company for 7 more days, but he says you have nothing to do. So, you're gonna get paid, but that's it. It's like, which is very interesting. The other side of this too is the equipment part, which I found really, we're talking about security, right? Really interesting that he's letting people keep their equipment um with company information on it without some kind of wipe process or anything like that. Which is very interesting, probably because since he's closing the company, he doesn't want to collect that stuff, that equipment, because he would
yeah,
be on the hook for it. So
yeah. I think he's just done. I think he's just really just over the whole situation, in my opinion.
yeah, I think
So
the most interesting part about this though is the Kotaku article that Ethan was supposedly working on hasn't been published. Like, dude, we're 11 days after the initial reporting on this email that he sent out, and yeah, the Kotaku article has not been published. So, um, I don't know what's going on with that. Like, will it actually publish? That's kind of the interesting thing at this point. Like, was Ethan trying to? Because Ethan's a pretty vindictive reporter historically. So I'm wondering if he was trying to do something malicious here and hurt this game studio and hurt Jeff Strain specifically in some way, and he goal accomplished clearly. If that was the case, like the dude just
so what you mean? He's like
you
he's
know
a malicious and um.
oh dude, Ethan Gotch is like he's got multiple articles that are like hit pieces on people uh working for Kotaku. He is like the worst kind of video game media personality.
Wow. Okay. That's actually pretty crazy.
Hold on, let me see if I can find some. Let's see. Nah, I can't find anything obvious right now, but um yeah, definitely not a guy with a great reputation though. Very political writer too. So I don't know. Anything else you want to say on this one?
Nope. That's it for me.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on to our next story, which we did mention this company briefly. So, Warhorse Studios officially announced a few days ago Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And they are saying it came with a trailer, and they're saying it's going to be twice as big as the original, a behemoth of a game, in quotes there. Montrell, does this excite you? Do you want to play this series?
I actually never played this series before.
Yeah, me either.
I never. I mean, what is it? I mean, I know what it is, but
It's a Western
it,
style RPG in medieval Bohemia. Like, it's That's it. Like it's nothing more complex than that. There is some amount of realism to it, I believe, in the way it plays, but otherwise it's, it's just it's an RPG. First person, I think.
Okay, okay. So, I mean, I think I saw the first one and I was like, oh, this is not really my type of game.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Yeah, I think I okay. Yeah, I do remember this game. Yeah, and I tried to just look at the gameplay and everything. I was just like, oh, yeah, I think I'm going to avoid this one. It's not really my style of game. It's a little
Yeah.
bit too realistic, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Hey man,
if
you
you
play
really,
Dragon's Dogma.
that's different though. Like that's like
Okay.
this one doesn't really have like magic or anything like that. It just
No, it doesn't.
yeah, it's like a really traditional. It's almost like going to a medieval festival,
Mm.
but like in real life. I mean, like a video game though. You see
You're
what I'm saying?
LARPing.
Like LARPing. There you go. That's what the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. I
You're
should already know that
LARPing.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you're LARPing.
Yeah.
Um, but in the video game, because that's what the combat's like, in my opinion. It's more realistic as far as the combat. Like, there's no, like I said, there are no flashy moves or anything like that. It's more like if you were a knight in this time, this will happen, type deal.
Yeah,
So
what's the game? Is it Chivalry or Mountain Blade? I think the one that's like an
yeah, shit, that's
online.
what exactly what it looks like. It looks like chivalry to
Yeah,
me.
that's what I think of here. It's just like a single player version of that as an RPG.
Yeah,
Um, which is interesting. I don't know. This kind of game definitely interests me. It's just a time thing. I've just never had time to play it, or
yeah,
you know, and with the second one coming out, probably won't play that one either for a while. But at some point, I'm definitely interested in this game for sure. This is a little bit more up my alley than yours, probably. I don't mind
yeah,
this kind of like immersive sim style RPG. I
yeah. That's a
actually
good
like a
word.
lot.
That's actually a good word to describe it. It's more so a sim than an RPG, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which
But
is really
no,
cool. I think it's I think it's unique because games haven't tried that. Games are always trying to do like, the more fantasy spin on
power
the
fantasy. Yeah,
yeah, the power fantasy spin or just even just like common fantasy. They always have like some kind of magic incorporated with it or something of that nature. Whereas like it's rare to see a game or a franchise or a show just have a grounded medieval story or a game or whatever the case may be. I think the
hmm,
last one we can get closest to that was like super popular was Game of Thrones. I think that's
yeah,
why I liked it so much because it was grounded. I mean they had a couple little magic stuff in there, but it's not like crazy. It's a rare occurrence in this universe in that universe. And I
yeah,
feel like Kingdom Come Deliverance is that type of game as well. Um I don't, me personally, I don't think I want to play a game, but I can probably watch somebody play a game in this universe, like watch somebody stream it. I think that'd be
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I may check it out, but I don't think there was. They didn't give like a release date or anything like that. So Um, but the first game has sold over 6 million units as of February this year, so which
Nice.
is pretty fucking impressive actually for a game like this. Um, so clearly a big hit. Um, I'm expecting this one to be a bigger hit probably. Um, First game definitely made waves. This was do you remember this was the game that had the controversy where people were saying they were they were mad at the game because there were no black people in it? But it takes
Really?
place in medieval Europe in the like it's like in the literally in the medieval era of Europe. It's like
I don't
it's
think
like
I would be mad at that. Like,
yeah, I don't know. It's like historically there probably weren't any, but so
I mean, this isn't like Middle Earth. This is like we're actually in fucking Europe type shit,
yeah, in
right?
history. Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no,
So okay,
Bohemia,
that
literally.
yeah, so that makes perfect sense why there aren't any black people. I'm pretty sure there aren't
Yeah.
any Asian people or Latino people in here.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So like
Exactly.
I
Yeah, so
don't
I
know.
think that controversy may have ended up actually helping the game because I believe the development studio basically told those people to go fuck themselves. Um,
Yeah, and people love that shit. So
yeah.
yeah.
So, But
Which
definitely,
I have
yeah.
I have a little thing against that. Um, I don't know. Not against the studio and them telling them to go fuck themselves. I support when studios do that shit.
Yeah.
Where they're like, "This is our vision of the game, and go fuck yourselves" or whatever. I actually
Hmm.
support that. Whether I agree with their vision or not, if that's their vision, then that's their vision. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, what I do have a disagreement with is if you had no intention of buying the game, and then you're like, oh, because they stood up to those SJWs, I'm about to buy the game, and you just never fucking play
Yeah.
it. Like I'm like, all right, bro, like you're never gonna play this. You never expressed interest in this type of game ever. Like I don't know.
Well, I definitely have. I don't like that kind of behavior in general, frankly. But because I totally agree with you. But when you start digging even deeper into it, it makes so little sense because a lot of these people are doing this in the vacuum of their own life, and they're not like nobody knows that they're doing it for this reason. They just bought a copy of the game. You were just a number that ticked up. It's like you're not. Your stand is meaningless because like no one knows you did it. you know which I don't want to encourage people to be vocal about this kind of thing because frankly, I'm fucking tired of that too. But um, I like hate buying a game to get back at the own the libs or whatever the fuck you want to call it, own the SJWs or whatever. It's just like I don't know. I mean, we saw that happen with Hogwarts Legacy too. It's like come on, man. Like I don't know. Like it's like the reverse of like bringing up the fact that there's no blacks in a medieval game that takes place in fucking Bohemia. It's like it's the opposite of that kind of behavior. It's just like nobody cares. It's a game, you know? Like why are you even bringing this up? It's fucking weird. So,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's just it's just really weird. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it. To me, it's just kind of weird. Like, I mean, you already told me how you feel about it, but I don't know. It was a comment that was made the other day about this and Stellar Blade, and I was like, you don't even like those type of games.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was
He's
like,
never going to play the game, dude. He's never going to play the game.
you know, I love him to death, and I'm just like,
I
bro,
know. He does it with he does it all the time though. It's like and I'm like who are you getting back at? Like we're the only ones who know? And it's like
yeah.
we pretty much agree with your opinion insofar as it stays an opinion. When it becomes this like political stand that you know,
Well, the thing is, I was
it
trying
gets
to
like
say like,
silly.
yeah, I was trying to say like as well. 90% of people disagree with like the Western media or the media in general's what they're trying to do to that game, in my opinion, right? Like they're trying to be
Right.
like, oh, it's a sexist game, and people are like, you were just praising Baldur's Gate 3 for the exact same shit. Like, what are you talking about at this
Right.
point? You know?
Yeah.
So
Oh, but
I
it
don't
was
know.
tasteful. It was tasteful in that game,
No,
Montrell.
it
Oh,
wasn't. They were literally talking
yeah.
about fucking all the time. Like okay. Anyway, yeah.
Dude,
So
Shadowheart, the first time I went to camp when I was playing that game, Shadowheart's wearing like a, kind of like a nightgown, basically. And it's like super revealing. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, I don't know. It's whatever, dude. It's like everybody in that game is like super horny too. It's just like,
yeah, you can literally make the NPCs run around naked if you want to.
yeah, and it's fine. Like I think that's our point though. We don't have a problem with that. It's just
Yeah,
the fact that people don't have a problem with that, but then they have an issue with Stellar Blade, which
yeah, exactly.
it's I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty weird, but it's whatever. I'm glad this game's coming out. You know, it did sell. It came out around 5 to 6 years ago, or even longer than that, I think. So it did sell
Yeah.
that 6 million over time. But it
Yep.
is one of those community driven games where it just has like a cult following and then just builds up steam. So I'm glad the studio got the money to do a second one. And if the second one looks really good, um, I may pick it up because I don't mind the realistic combat. It almost reminds me of the first game. Reminds me of what For Honor was trying to do, or what For
Yeah.
Honor is. Right? They had that realistic combat, and I actually like it. I actually like For Honor, so if they can go a little bit more realistic but stylish with the combat, even if it is in first person, I don't care. I will actually pick it up and play it. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
my 2 cents.
All right, fair enough. All right, Montrell, moving on. We got one more story, which this was the one I forgot last week. Was Hades 2 had a big blowout developer stream where they did a gameplay reveal, and then they announced the alpha, or not the alpha, technical test that they're doing before they go into early access later this year. And man, they showed a lot of gameplay. And did you check this out at all?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Oh
It looks
man,
pretty cool.
you fucking, I can't, I fucking can't with this guy. Everybody, like,
Right.
what is it with you and Hades? Why do you hate this series? Why don't you
I
want to
don't
play
hate
it?
the series. I
Why
don't
don't
hate
you
it.
want to play it?
I don't know. I
It's
don't know
so
if I want to play.
fucking good.
It looks really cool. It
Oh,
looks
you're
cool.
you're infuriating. I hate the way you're talking about it. You're like placating me like I'm a fucking toddler. Oh, it looks really cool, Justin. Oh, that's awesome, little buddy.
I don't know. I don't know what it is about these that's not appealing to me. I think the game looks really fucking cool though. And I think the first one was really fucking cool. I
Mhm.
don't think I'm just into it. I don't know why I'm not into it. I can't explain why I'm not into it.
Just
It's kind of
play
like
it.
you with Helldivers, right?
Play it.
Like
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
yeah, and this is my Helldivers. Like this game is my Helldivers, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I
but
know it's a good game. I know I should play it, but even if it's not just you, DJ, every time I bring up Hades or he brings up Hades, he looks at me with scorn and disgust that I
DJ,
haven't
we
played
got to
this
keep
game.
bullying this man, DJ. Like, we're in lockstep on this one, my man. Like, we need to keep bullying Montreal until he plays it because this is ridiculous. Hades 2 looks fucking awesome. I'm fucking so excited for this goddamn game. Like, oh my god. To the point that I almost like want to go back and play Hades 1 again and like finish it and like get the plat and everything because I never fully completed the game. Um, but nah, man, the new shit they're adding, like the new weapons and stuff, and the new character you're playing as. I'm forgetting her actual name at this moment, but and the characters that you're interacting with, like between runs and stuff, like looks so cool. Um, I think the thing I'm hoping with Hades 2 though is that they do expand the game a little bit. I will say that that's like my one criticism of Hades 1 is that
Mhm.
the scope of the overall amount of content is actually really small overall. Like you can beat the game if you're able to beat the game like you know, you're like let's just say you beat it in your first run, which is really hard, but let's say you do that. You could probably finish the game's like quote content in about 2 hours, but obviously it's a roguelike, so you're constantly rerunning the same thing over and over and over again. That was my kind of issue with the game, which is why I fell off of it. Once you start being able to consistently beat the last boss over and over again and finish a run, like the game does get a little repetitive and stale because you're not striving towards some challenge anymore. Like it's
Mhm.
you've overcome the challenge. You're so I'm kind of hoping the game's got a little bit more juice in that regard with the second one. Like there's more to it because there's only, I believe there's 4 bosses that you fight per run, and I'm kind of hoping there's more to a run than that in Hades 2, personally. But so that's kind of the one thing I'm waiting for right now to really understand a little bit more with the game. But I don't know, gameplay wise, it just looks so fucking fun, man. Like they're adding all these little mechanics to kind of like pseudo little crafting systems that you can do in the game, and kind of ways to power up your character or kind of impact a run where you might get like random buffs or something, or um, you know, change the way certain abilities work and stuff like that. Like I'm very excited about it. You should play the first one.
I am. I'm going to play the first one. I will play it. This is my vow to you. I will play
Yeah.
the first one before the end of the year is out for sure.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, yeah, I was gonna say if we ever stream together, this is a game I'm gonna force you to play.
I'm probably going to suck.
That's
Probably
fine.
going to suck. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I sucked at it too at first. You got to learn the game, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, technical test. I don't think it's going on quite yet. Or actually, no, I do think it is going on. Early access, though, I don't think we know when that's coming quite
Okay.
yet. Um, hold on, let me look it up real quick. Early access date.
When?
Nope, they just said Q2 2024. So.
Wow, people aren't complaining that Apollo's black.
There was some article about body diversity or something on, I think it was Polygon or something. I'm like, dude, like what are we talking about here, man? Like, um,
It's so funny how the extremes of both sides are actually
yeah.
just the same. It's the horseshoe
Well, the main
theory.
character's bi too. It's it's very checkboxy in the way it's handling some of this stuff, but I don't care. It doesn't impact the game really at all. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so funny how both sides are just so crazy. And I'm just like, I just want to play a good fucking game, bro. I don't care if it's a fucking gay
Hmm.
dude or whatever the fuck. I just want to play a fucking good game, man. Like
Yeah,
that's it. So
I
I
agree.
don't know.
All right, Montrell. Well, that being exciting, um, that's it for news. I did put a topic in here real quick. Did you watch the new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer?
Yes, I am not super. I'm going to see the movie, no doubt.
Yeah.
Um, I'm probably going to go see it in theaters after I saw Civil War in theaters. That was my first movie I saw in a while in theaters, actually. I think the last movie I saw before that was probably Wakanda Forever. Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah,
Oh my god, that was a while ago.
um,
I
yeah,
saw Dune 2 in theaters.
yeah. I wanted to see it in theaters. Now it's on the fucking TV, and I'm just gonna rent it. But
Yep.
I might just
Yep.
go to IMAX and see it still if it's still there. I'm probably sure I can catch a show there. Um, Deadpool, I'm definitely gonna go see it theaters. I do recommend Civil War to people, but don't go into it thinking it's gonna be a super war movie.
Mm.
Uh, it has a lot, and its message is not. I like the message from Civil. I know this is about Deadpool. I'm sorry, but I know the
You go
Civil
ahead.
War, whatever. It's the first movie in a long time, I should say, that doesn't have a point, that doesn't have a left or right leaning point. It just has a fucking point. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a
Yeah.
very neutral point, but it's a very good point. And the point is like this is like I don't know. You gotta watch the movie and then whatever the case may be. But anyway, Deadpool trailer looks really good. Um, I think I'm not onto it. I'm not super big on it right now because it's like a little bit too late. I'm completely over the superhero movies, like done, right? And I know
Mhm.
Deadpool is like a more of a meme of the superhero movies, which I am looking to see what they're going to do with it. Um, so I'm going to chase it or watch it rather because I seen both Deadpool movies and I loved them. Um, and this looks like it's trying to take a break from the whole superhero thing and be more so of a buddy cop movie, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I am gonna see it. So I am very excited to see it. Or yeah, I'm very excited to see it, but I'm not like I'm about to go see it Thursday night when it comes out. Like no, I'm gonna probably go see it on the weekend, like a matinee or something, because I'm old now and I hate
mhm.
going to theaters with like a whole bunch of teens and shit like that.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Well, I'm excited about it. I love the first two Deadpool movies. I think they're really fun. I just like what they've done with Deadpool with this string of movies. So, having Hugh Jackman involved is also really fun too. So,
yeah, I heard there was
um,
rumors that they were gonna get what's his face, the guy that plays Harry Potter. He was gonna be the next fucking Wolverine and shit like that. Which I
really,
can yeah, I can actually see that to be honest
I
with
don't
you.
know if he has the body type though, dude.
I mean
Like
they
Wolverine's fucking jacked, bro.
but
Like,
he's also like 5'5" in the comics. Like he's short as fuck.
yeah, I know, but he's like stocky though. He's not like a
Yeah.
skinny like fucking dude.
I
Daniel
mean
Radcliffe is a fucking string bean.
he can buff up for it. He can buff up for it.
Ah, man, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, he can definitely. I mean, look at fucking Tom Hardy and fucking Bane.
Yeah,
Tom Hardy's like 5'7", 5'8", and they made him
I
look
guess
six
that's
foot
true.
one in that movie.
Yeah, yeah, but I will say though, like Wolverine's the type of character like Hugh Jackman can continue to play him probably for as long as he wants.
Yeah,
As long as he's in shape.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
given that Wolverine's, pretty much immortal. So it's like, I don't know. So I don't know. It looks fun to me. I'm fairly excited about it. I'm with you with the superhero stuff. I couldn't fucking give a shit less about what the MCU is doing at this point. I don't even
Dog,
remember what was the last
bro.
MCU movie I even
I
watched? Was
don't
it
fucking
Doctor
know, bro.
Strange?
Was that the last one?
Maybe that I watched. It might have been the last Spider-Man. I don't know which one of those came out first.
I'm about to look it up right now. The last MCU
Like
movie.
it was yeah, it was Spider-Man No Way Home. Was that what that one was called?
Yeah, that was No Way Home.
Was that 2021 that came out?
Actually, the last one that came out. Oh, the Ant-Man movie. Did that come out already?
Ant-Man Quantumania, yeah, that came out last year.
And uh the Marvels?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Yeah, that's the
Jesus
last.
Christ, they're just
That's the
pushing
last
these
one.
things out.
Yeah, that was the last one that came out. The Marvels. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, but when
Um,
did Spider-Man?
that came out in 2021. No Way Home came out in
Yeah, it was 2020. It
2021.
was the end of 2021, so it's been 2.5 years. Okay, when
Yeah,
did Doctor Strange?
2022, May 6th. That was the
Okay, so
last
that
Doctor
was the
Strange.
last one I saw. Then was Doctor Strange.
The last one I saw was Wakanda Forever, which was 2022, November 2022.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was the
Oh wait, no,
last.
Guardians 3, dude.
Yeah, that came out in May. That came
Guardians
out
of
in
the.
May of 2023.
Yeah, no, I did see Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Okay, I didn't see that movie.
Yeah, no, I did see that one. It was good.
It was good.
It
Okay,
was better than 2 for sure.
okay.
Um, yeah.
You know, I don't know.
But that I didn't see that one because of any particular care for the MCU. You know, it
Yeah,
was literally just because it was going to be the last Guardians movie, so I wanted to see it for that reason.
there's another Captain America coming. Oh yeah, Sam Wilson. Okay, he's gonna have his own movie. Right.
Yep. So, no, I don't know. Deadpool looks cool. It'll be fun. I'm definitely gonna go see it probably when it comes out, and we can talk about that on the show for sure. All right, Montrell. Guess the meta score. We had Stellar Blade. I don't think scores are out for that yet, so we'll do that one next week.
I'm
But
gonna give it. I'm gonna give it. Wait, because it comes out
well, we
today,
we
right?
we we did Stellar Blade already. Like we did it. We
Oh,
did
we
scores
did.
for Stellar Blade.
Oh, we did. What we do?
We're just waiting on the game to actually get.
Oh yeah, I gave it a 75. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I adjust my number? Is it too late to adjust it?
No.
I'm gonna give it an 80.
Wow, man.
Actually, change it to 79. I'm gonna give it a 79.
Hellblade
The
2,
reason I'm gonna give it a Hellblade 2. When does that come out?
May. It's like 3 or 4 weeks, I think.
Damn, there's gonna be a huge critic and the difference between the critic and the audience on this one.
We're going critic. Oh, I get to guess first on this one, actually.
So we're just going critic, right?
Yes, we always go with the critic score.
All right, I'll let you go first.
Oh man, I don't know, dude. This is kind of hard. Like, what was the first Hellblade? Hold on, let's see. Hellblade 87.
I I go first, and then you can pick off of that. Usually, the person who goes first at the disadvantage. So I'll go first. I want to go first. I'm volunteering to go first. I think the game's gonna get a 90.
Yeah.
This is a real
Well,
critics game.
it is. I think the debate here, though, is it go up or down from the first game?
I think it's gonna go up. I think it's gonna go up.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think I'm being too overzealous. This is an Xbox game, so they're at a disadvantage already because it's an Xbox game.
All right, I'm gonna go
Critics,
88.
yeah, critics usually don't like Xbox games. I feel like if Hellblade, I'm still going with the 90. I already committed.
Okay.
I feel like if this is a PlayStation game, Oh my god,
Shooing
95.
9 plus, definitely
Yeah,
shooing,
yeah,
no
yeah,
question. Yeah,
yeah. Um, I mean, people like to deny the bias for PlayStation, but it's obviously bias there. Like, PlayStation is such a Western media reviewer type environment. It just makes sense in my opinion.
yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You were saying something about Stellar Blade though. What?
Yeah, Stellar Blade is gonna be um it's I think it's gonna be interesting to see the reviews come out for Stellar Blade. It's probably gonna land at like an 82, like you said. Um I think there may be people though who angrily review it and give it a 70. Um
It's gonna
they
be a weird one. Yeah,
yeah,
there's definitely some political nonsense
yeah,
involved in
it's
this
gonna
one.
be a very political one. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna be hard pressed to actually find. I would say this. Don't look to the major publications for a fair and honest review. You're gonna have to rely on like, which is funny, YouTubers. Unfortunately, in word of mouth. This is gonna be one of those games where you have to turn to like your trusted podcast, your trusted YouTubers that you trust. I don't think any major publication or any
They're gonna be
major
hard. They're
website,
definitely gonna be hard to trust on this one. Yeah,
yeah, there's so many angles to this game. I even wouldn't even trust like myself with the review because I had a pre-existing impression of what the game was going to be and then what the game turned out to be. You see what I'm saying? So it's
yeah,
like, um, and there are some people out there like me as well. So that's why I said the game's definitely going to be really weird to judge. I'm going to play it. I'm not going to buy it first day. I'm probably going to buy it the second day. This does seem like one of those games I can jump in and out of.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
um, now that I got over the fact that it's like a more Souls likey game, I hate using that term, but whatever the fuck, I don't care anymore. I've been fighting it and I just don't care anymore. It's a more it's more on the Sekiro Souls side of combat. Um I am going to check it out and I can just jump in and out of those type of games. Well, not Sekiro and Souls. I have to like commit to that shit. But this game I feel like I can just do that. I don't know. The soundtrack's really fucking good though. So it already
Yeah,
has like 4 or 5 points for that shit. You know what I'm
yep.
saying? Um I think there's gonna be a huge, huge discrepancy between media score and audience score for this one.
Well, I
For
think even
sure.
in the media too, there's gonna be a lot of really positive reviews and a lot of really negative ones. I think.
Yeah, yeah. I can
Um,
definitely see this game. I can't see this game getting below a 6. If you give it below a 6, you're definitely bullshit. I think this game is still well made. Despite me not being up to my standards of what the game what I want it to game to be, it's still a high quality game. Like I can't even deny that shit, you know.
yeah,
So I think if you get this game below a 6, you're definitely lying to yourself. Unless there's like unless the when the real game comes out, there are like critical flaws that we all
game
see.
breaking
Yeah,
bugs, yeah, or something like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Or the
it's like a
story
technical
just like
mess.
doesn't make any fucking sense or whatever.
No,
Yeah, you know what? You don't play these games
it's
for the story.
weird, dude. You know, yeah, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. Like, as much as I'm a big story and narrative guy in video games, like I will say there are certain games, and this is this being one of those where I don't think any of us are here for the story.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Armored Core, right? Like, is anybody in Armored Core for the story? Like, come on.
Bro, they're I mean, yeah, those are like the hardcore fans. They're like, "Oh my god, did you follow this? And 621 is actually this guy." I'm like,
It's
"Okay,
not
man."
that interesting. It's
Yeah.
just a bunch of people talking to each other over a radio. Like, whatever. Like, it's sorry. I just
You know what really irritates me about mecha stuff?
yeah,
It's that right there.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
like Gundam, like I know I'm gonna get fucking flamed for this shit. I just don't care about the politics in Gundam. Like
yeah,
every mecha anime has some kind of political shit with it, and I just don't fucking care. And it's always between Earth and Mars. You notice that? Almost
yeah,
every mecha game, mecha something. It's
yeah,
always between like Earth and some red planet. And it's like, oh,
yeah.
the fucking Earth faction broke off from us, and
We're
now we're the
preconditioning ourselves to be racist against future people who are Martians.
We're already calling ourselves terrorists.
When we solve racism on the planet of Earth, we're gonna have we're gonna have prejudice against Martians. I mean, dude, if you've ever read the Expanse, like that's basically what happens.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean
in that stories, and it's hilarious. Like the Belters are like they're like looked down upon. You know,
the Belters. That's funny.
yeah.
They probably live on Orion's belt or something like that.
No, they live in the asteroid belt around the solar system.
Oh, okay, okay.
They don't live on a planet. Like they live in like stations, basically.
Ah, okay. Fucking
So, but they
Belters.
like grow up. They grow up in 0G, so their like bones grow differently and shit. Like they can't
Okay.
handle Earth's gravity. Like they struggle with Earth's gravity like really badly.
That makes
Um,
sense.
so,
Okay.
but they're like looked down upon because they grew up in outer space. It's like it's such a fucking it's such a dumb concept, but it's humans, dude. Like we're gonna do it, you know.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna do it. Like
Well,
Martians are gonna be
even
looked down upon for
well,
sure.
even this game, like the story looks very near. I will say that. I think the
Yeah, but
story
dude,
is.
I hate this comparison because like Near, it's just it's a surface level thing. Like Near is a really deep philosophical game. You know, like
Oh,
is
I
Stellar
know.
Blade gonna be a deep philosophical game? I sincerely doubt that. Like
Well,
sincerely,
you know what's funny
you
though?
know.
People are like, "Yeah, Yoko Taro was saying like he wished his
Oh
game was
my
more like this."
fucking god,
I'm
he's
saying
such a,
I
he's just being nice, like
no, bro. He's
like
being horny. That's
that's true too. That is true. Definitely, absolutely. He's
he's just horny,
100% being
y'all.
corny.
Y'all gotta let Yoko Taro do his thing. He's 100% horny, and I don't get why he's so horny. He has a lot of money, so I'm pretty sure he can get any fucking cosplay girl he wants. To. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure he gets like a lot of 2B
dude,
cosplay girls.
he shows up in the Egil head, or
Oh yeah, it's over.
bro, it's over, man. The girls
Him,
are lining up. You
you
know.
know what's funny? Him, Kojima, and fuck, what's his name? Kamiya from
Yeah,
fucking
platinum.
Platinum Games. I followed Kamiya, man. He used to retweet the fuck out of Asian models and stuff like that. Like they'll be
Yeah.
like in their bikinis and shit like that. I'm like,
God.
dog, you're so
These
horny, bro.
guys, bro. Like Jesus
I
Christ,
respect
man.
it, man. I respect it. You know what? And then Kojima for Metal Gear 5, Quiet, the model for that,
Oh
like
my
cause
god.
he did an actual body scan. Like that's the actual model. She looks that hot, right?
I know, but she
So,
doesn't have to. She doesn't have to wear that. You know, wasn't
no,
there some bullshit about her skin? Like she needed to like absorb the sunlight in order to survive or some shit, which is why she wears no clothes. Like it's so
no.
fucking stupid and
Yeah.
contrived. Like
It is stupid. It was one part, right, where you have her locked up.
oh
when
yeah,
you when you first capture her, right, and you have her locked up, and she's like laying on the bed with her feet up in the air, like just not
yeah,
like she's laying on her stomach, and you know how you're like reading, you're dangling your feet while you're reading or some bullshit like that, right? So she's
yeah.
doing that, and I guess one person on YouTube decided to zoom in on the feet, and it's actually, I'm like, bro, y'all are so fucking degenerate. Feet people are just degenerates to me, by the way. But
Yeah.
I'm sorry if y'all feet people. I'm going to kick shame y'all. It's so funny. I don't care. But do what you do, man. If you like that, that's what you like. But yeah, he zoomed in on the feet, right? And it's super detailed. And
Yeah.
there's actually an interview about that. She's like, yeah, he told me he had to like get really detailed on my feet. I'm like, Kojima is every kind of pervert, every type of pervert that you can think of.
Oh
Like,
man.
it's so funny, bro. And
He's
I
a
think Yoko
furry. He's
Taro.
got a foot fetish. You know.
You
Fucking.
know what? I haven't seen any evidence of furries in this shit yet. That's funny.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any evidence of that. I do. Yeah, he has a lot of different stuff though. That you can definitely tell like he's into. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah. Oh, sorry. Um, but yeah. I don't know. That it's super funny to me in general.
Okay. Yeah. One more thing I wanted to talk about real quick. You had mentioned giving in to the whole Souls like comparison. And I heard a podcast recently where they went into the taxonomy of what a Souls like is because people use it for things that aren't Souls games at all.
Yeah.
Um, and I just kind of wanted to pick your brain about that idea because They mostly posited it as like difficulty was like the primary factor of what defines a Souls like, and I don't really agree with that per se. Um, I don't know. What do you think?
Uh, no. Well,
Well, because it can't be difficulty in a vacuum. Because if that's the answer, then tons of games are Souls like. Like it's that on top of other things, right?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's to me, it's the way you structure the levels, the camera, the
Mm-hmm.
targeting system, the way your character moves, uh,
Combat cadence, right?
yeah, combat
That
cadence,
back and forth combat, more deliberate,
yeah,
where you're not button mashing. You have to make more deliberate movements in combat.
yeah. You can't really do combos, right? You can't really do strings of combos. You have to um maybe press one or two
Right.
buttons and
Which
then
is my
parry.
argument as why Neo is really the same, you know?
Neo is an interesting game. I think Neo pushed what you can call Souls. Neo,
Yeah.
Wulong, and even Rise of Ronin. Um, I think for the reason that we just mentioned is the reason why people don't give those games the respect that it deserves. It's only like a cult following, right? Neo, Neo 2, Wulong, and to a certain degree, Rise of the Ronin. Um, they're so different from what Souls does, right? Souls is like you press one or two buttons, excuse me, and then you dodge or whatever, or you parry or whatever. Even Sekiro, right? As much as we love that game, it is that you press one or two buttons, you dodge or whatever. You don't need all the tools that you have available and at your
Yeah.
disposal, right? I
Right.
feel like Neo is you press a ton of buttons, and even if you press a ton of buttons, you have to be cognizant of the buttons you're pressing while you're
Yeah.
pressing those buttons. That's where the difficulty comes in because it's an action game. It perfectly melds a character action game with the Dark Souls with the Souls like game.
Yeah.
It's using the Souls like
Yes.
formula, right? So the Souls like formula is the stages, um,
The level based gameplay,
the level based
which is funny because
gameplay.
Souls games actually aren't really level based, but they kind of had
Uh,
the appearance of being that way, you know?
yeah, it's more so stats, right? Like,
The
are you talking
stat
about?
system is a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like, are you talking about like actual like level design or like
Well,
level like
we're
one through three?
like level design for sure, but I mean like level base where like Neo has enclosed levels that you're playing through in
Oh
a
yeah,
mission
yeah, yeah,
structure.
yeah.
Dark Souls does not have that.
Dark
Like
Souls
you
doesn't
are
have that,
you're
but
wandering
they
around a completely connected world generally in Dark
yeah,
Souls.
but
That's another reason I don't think Neo is a Souls game though. It's like it doesn't have that. There's no like that interconnectedness exists within the levels, but the levels are really small generally. Like they're not very large,
yeah,
you know.
but they have the bonfire mechanic in there, and
Yeah,
I mean
sure.
that's to me that's what makes it like
I
a
mean,
Souls like.
it's like adjacent. It's adjacent, but I don't know.
Yeah, because like what things that a lot of Souls games do is when you go
Yeah,
to the bonfire, everybody resets, right?
yeah. Plenty of games
Uh,
do that though.
I mean, not really though. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the characters reset, but it's not like an overt reset. Like, it's not like when I go to the checkpoint and I come back and then the character's there again. Like for instance,
Yeah,
like
but
God
dude,
of War,
like
right? Like
I don't
I don't
know.
when I'm playing God of War, like the 2018 version of it, right? When I go rest or something like that, it's like
Yeah,
it's like a even though it's a non-linear game, in certain instances it's a linear game, but there are instances where I go back and then those characters respawn, but they don't respawn when I just go right back to it, after I take a checkpoint or whatever.
hmm
It's like a timer or whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's just different, right? And I understand that. But Neo does have the soul structure. Even if I don't like it and I hate calling it that, I think that's what it is because there are certain parts of like the Neo level, right, where there are monsters that just jump out at you and try to get you like, yo, you gotta pay attention to this. That's like a Souls like thing or whatever, right? And I know Souls didn't invent that, but it's like that's what they're going for. Uh the
yeah.
the um
Well,
the
yeah,
bonfires in the middle of the levels and all that stuff like that. The shortcuts that you can unlock when you finally do go around the
yeah.
entire level,
Well, that's
even
what I
though it's
mean.
a
Yeah, there is that interconnectedness there, but
yeah,
it's
and
smaller scale though.
it's smaller scale, but it's still in my opinion. Like, as much as I want to deny it, um, and I was on Twitter like going. So this is documented that I was like, oh, Neo's is not Soul like, but it's like the more I think about it, it is Souls like. But like I said,
Yeah,
we're
but you have pieces that are very different. Like I mean, the
yeah, I was
skill
about to
like
say that. Yeah, like the skill
skill
tree
trees. Yeah, right.
and the to me the combat is the biggest one. The combat is the biggest deciding
Yes.
factor or whatever the case may be for what makes it a Souls like.
And the
Like
cadence of the combat is definitely Souls like, but I think the actual execution of attacking and dodging and everything and blocking is very different from a Souls game, you know?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
those mechanics are completely different, you know, to me. Whereas a Souls game is a much more has a different like when I'm talking about cadence, I'm talking about the back and forth you have with the enemy you're
Yeah.
fighting,
Mhm.
where it's like they attack and then there's an opening and you attack. You know, it's like that's kind of the cadence generally that Souls games take. And Neo has that same style for sure. But like you were saying, the combos that you're doing and having to really think about what buttons you're pressing in the middle of a fight in Neo is that's where it's like I find that to be a completely different experience from a Souls game
Oh
personally.
yeah, I agree with
But
that. I think and that's why it's a very very fine line. It's a very fine. I can see the argument right for both sides actually. Like, oh,
I can too. I
this is
can
a
too.
this is a Souls like game, and no, this is not a Souls like game. Neo Wulong, you know, those other Team
I
Ninja
just think
games.
Neo's more of an ARPG though. Like
It is.
I look at it more like a Diablo game that
It
has
it
like a
it.
Souls like perspective, I guess.
I mean, one can argue that Souls is nothing but a Diablo game, but in third person. You think about it, right? Diablo has respawns,
I
has
would say more
checkpoints.
like Castlevania, dude.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, it is. You know what? That's
'Cause
actually a really good example.
like there's no itemization. It's not itemized like a Diablo game.
That's true.
It's much more like the things you get are fairly unique in a Souls game generally.
Hmm.
Like obviously there are generic things like generic swords and axes and whatever shields and stuff like that, but like as you start getting real items, like they're like unique items where like they do a specific thing and they're the only item in the game that does that, and that's more in like a Castlevania is not an RPG in that regard, like generally speaking, but it
I think
has
some
those
of
elements
the
though
I
when you
think
get like items and
some of
power
the
ups and that it has that
yeah, I think some
similar
of the
feel.
later Castlevania games are like more RPG ish.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
I mean, that's actually a really good example. I think Souls is nothing more than a third person version of Castlevania or Metroid. Because Metroid and Castlevania do the same thing, where you go to a checkpoint or you leave the area and then you come back. Those enemies
Just
respawn.
backtracking. Yeah.
Yeah, and those
Well, there's
enemies
also
respawn
backtrack, like heavy amounts of backtracking in Souls
heavy
games.
amounts of and you can unlock you shoot random walls and then they reveal
Yep.
themselves or whatever the case may be and everything like that
Yeah.
because I played more so Metroid than Castlevania, but they have the same spirit. They are everyone says Metroidvania is for a reason, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree with that. I think Souls did nothing but combine two genres together to make what it is today. Um, and then they just added a layer of difficulty on it or whatever, which I think Metroidvania games and Castlevania games always had a layer of difficulty onto them. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, which makes them special, and I think that's what makes the Soul game special. I think what's unfortunately, I think the spawn of all these Souls like
Mm.
games, are tarnishing what we think of what because everyone's trying to do their own spin on it, and it's like, okay, how many spins can we do on this though? You know, like I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a really weird game. The only thing I was getting really upset um with Stellar Blade is with the comparisons to Near. I can understand, right? The atmosphere may be near like, the music may be near like, even the character. I can, if you want to stretch it, you can say the character is near like, right? I can
I mean,
understand.
she's literally a female android. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, even
yeah.
the
So
story is definitely very near like.
yeah, so one thing that people and I was like, yeah, I agree with all those points, right? I, however, do not think the combat is near like. at all.
Not a,
Nier's a
even
character
close.
action game
Not even close.
through and
Yeah.
through. With like added with RPG mechanics onto it,
Hmm.
in a very unique way with the chip system. So
Hmm.
it's like, um, that's how you get your different builds and stuff like that with Nier, which I think is really cool. But it's still, to me, akin to like a Devil May Cry game or a Bayonetta game. When I play those games, that's how I play that game, because the combos you can do in that game are crazy, right?
Yeah.
Um, and people were saying, "Oh, even the combat's like it." I'm like, dude, this combat is nothing like Nier. Like that, I can't agree with, and I would never agree with that. Even if the combat gets faster, which a lot of people tell me it does get faster, I still can't see this game being Nier like. These are two
Dude,
different games as far as combat, Nier and Stellar Blade, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, and I think the thing I'm going to bring up is the dodge. In Nier is like I'd almost call it iconic the way it works, you know, because when
Yeah,
you perfect dodge in Nier, like your character, like the animation that happens is like insane. Your character like fucking teleports and does this weird shit, and like it's not like a it doesn't it's not like Final Fantasy 16's dodge where the game goes slow mo or anything like that. Like I mean, it kind of does, but it's like your character like disappears when you perfect dodge in Nier, and it's like a much more effective dodge. Like the Stellar Blade's dodge is terrible. It's like a little backstep. Like it's not a dodge like in that same way. It doesn't really function nearly the same way at all. And character movement is not the same either. Like the characters in Nier are very fast and fluid, in the way they move. And your control of them is very fast and fluid as well. Whereas in Stellar Blade, I don't feel like, or at least from the demo that I played, I did not feel like Eve had that kind of movement. It was a little more stilted, um, and almost like directional, like straight line directional.
yeah,
Um,
and I feel like even the way they structured the game, even if she does have really quick movement, it's still not gonna be near like,
doesn't
our,
matter, right? The environments
our
aren't, you
yeah.
know,
The camera is still going to be what it is. Like that plays a big role. Like if you look at the difference between like Nier's camera and like
yeah,
Neo's camera, right? Those are two different camera styles. Like Nier's camera is more zoomed out, so you can see the battlefield, and you can
right,
see enemies around you, and you can dodge and everything of that nature. Whereas with Nier's camera, is it's very tight on that, the targeting system in particular is very tight on that target that you're on,
yeah.
and everything of that nature. And that's, in my opinion, another big factor of what makes Souls game a Souls game and what makes a Devil May Cry game or a Bayonetta game that a character action game, um,
Mhm.
is that camera, man. Like, um, there's just two different. I don't know. It gives you everything in Stellar Blade. It seems like it's almost like every Souls game you play. There's You have an issue with crowds, or CC, or you
Right.
have barely
Multiple enemies are a
multiple
problem.
enemies. Yeah, are a problem, right? Even in the games like Sekiro or whatever, you always try to avoid having multiple enemies on screen. Whereas like with Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Nier, um,
That's just part of
you
the gameplay.
that's just part of the gameplay. You have means to do crowd control and things of that nature.
AoE
Um,
attacks. Yeah.
exactly. So, um, even near or Neo rather, it's a mixed bag because I hate getting like multiple enemies on the screen in
Oh
Neo.
yeah.
Um,
No, it's rough, especially if they're higher class enemies, like harder
yeah,
ones. But they throw them at you a lot. Actually, it's
but
not an
you have
uncommon
so many tools
situation.
to dodge,
Yeah.
like, you
Well,
know,
and block. Your block is
and
actually pretty effective in that game.
yeah. So I don't know. Yeah,
Well, the only thing
I don't think difficulty is a big factor. I think, because Code Vein
more
is
style.
a yeah, I think Code Vein is a Souls game, but that game's easy as fuck.
Well, do you
Um,
consider Jedi Fallen Order
yeah,
Souls game? Yeah.
mhm, I do.
Okay.
I think it's more on the Sekiro side of things, but yeah, it is a Souls like game in
But
my
that's like
opinion.
that's like not a hard game, right?
It's not.
So doesn't that kind of nullify a little bit of the difficulty uh conversation? Because to me,
Yeah,
I think the
I
one,
mean, it never was a part of my conversation. I don't think
okay,
difficulty is a huge deal.
yeah, because the
But
one
I
aspect we
will.
haven't.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I will
Sorry.
say in Fallen Order, no, not Fallen
Yeah.
Order, but Survivor,
Yeah.
they try to branch out into its own thing a little bit more. I
Okay.
will say that. But definitely Fallen Order is definitely like we want to bring souls to
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which it wasn't a
I,
terrible choice. The
it
gameplay in that
wasn't.
game was pretty good.
Yeah. And even Survivor, I just think I need to give it another chance. I wasn't in the right headspace for it.
Man, I gotta
Um,
play that game. Fuck.
yeah, I think I wasn't in the right headspace for it, and I'm gonna give it another shot. Um,
Can you believe that was a
I,
year ago that game
yeah, I
came
got
out?
pretty far. Yeah, I got pretty far in that game too. It was a year ago it
Yeah.
came out.
It's fucking
Um,
crazy. Well, the one aspect of this that we haven't talked about though is the bosses, the way bosses are designed in these games, and I think this is the key component of what kind of, or one of the key components of a Souls game is that it's like people talk about challenge. It's like that's like a key component of Dark Souls. I don't really think challenge is the word that I would use, frankly, because I mean, yes, challenge is like definitely an aspect of what happens in a Souls game. Like they're definitely trying to challenge their players, but I don't think that's like the mode of gameplay or experience they're trying to give necessarily. It's not necessarily that frustrating element. It's that triumph they want to give. I think Miyazaki's talked about this. Is that like that feeling of triumph when you beat something that is has been difficult? And I think the key aspect of that is the element of learning what you're fighting. You know, in these games, and I feel like nobody talks about this, is when you fight a boss in a Souls game, the first time you fight it, very likely you're going to lose. You know, you're going to die. Like that is pretty common. One shotting a Souls boss is generally a matter of you're either over leveled for it, over geared, you have a broken build, or you actually are fucking skilled and managed to do it in one shot. You know, and generally when you die, the idea is you learn something from that experience of dying. Okay, I did this thing wrong at this moment. The boss used this move, and I reacted this way, and that was the wrong reaction. You know, or I had the wrong strategy, or maybe I have the wrong gear. Something like it's about analyzing how the fight went and trying to rectify what you did. You know, whereas I don't feel like that's the case in necessarily a character action game. It's more skill based. You know, where it's literally about beating the boss in a skill based way. Where like I would argue Sekiro is kind of like this a little bit more too, right? Like there's a certain amount of learning you're going to do in Sekiro, but at a certain point you need to be able to physically like beat the encounter, you know. Whereas
mhm.
I don't necessarily feel like that's always the case in a Souls game. You know, it's much more about strategy, positioning, your character build, those kind of things. You know.
Yeah, I would say um, that's a good point. I think in character action games in particular, you can there's a correct way to go through the fight, and then there's your way
Yep.
to go through the fight. And you can see online, for instance, like the first boss in Devil May Cry 5, there are plenty of ways to beat that boss with all the skills you have at your disposal. There's a
Mm-hmm.
way to beat it, and then there's like your way to beat it. Near is the same way. And then Bayonet is the same way as well. I'll even say to a certain extent, Near or Neo rather is the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You can beat it like just blocking it and then getting a couple hits in and then blocking it doing like the regular Souls way, or you can learn your character and really go like poison it while you're doing it, doing fucking
Well,
combos and
figure out how
shit.
to stagger.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
And it's
being able to stagger the boss in some way, or how to break their stamina meter. Yeah, things like that.
yeah, and
There's a little bit more RPG statistical depth there that you need to manipulate in that
yeah,
game to be able to do
exactly.
that stuff. So,
And
um,
and then
yeah,
like Souls, there are instances where you can just one shot the boss, or there's different ways to beat the boss. Like you may have a strength build and you can just like punch it out, or just beat him to death with it, or use your magic or something like that. Um, I don't know, the way Souls fights are like really weird. It's kind of like because you can use those same arguments I just made for a character action game and apply those to Souls. Well, there are different ways to beat those bosses too, and it's like yeah, but it's not. the same. Like, I don't know. I feel like people be very disingenuous when it comes to like comparing games and stuff like that. Like, they may have the same on paper, you're saying the same thing, but they play out differently when you're actually playing the game, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. Sekiro is really one of those games you have to work super hard to be stylish at beating the boss. Because I've seen it before. People using different items and all that shit to beat the bosses or whatever. Um, but you do have to like learn that fucking boss. Like, to me, in my opinion, I mean a lot of people hold Bloodborne in high regard. And what they tell me they like about Bloodborne is exactly what I see in Sekiro. They're like, "Oh, I can be aggressive and I can be this and I can be that." And I'm like, and I'm dodging and it's just way more aggressive where in Sekiro and Dark Souls you're on the defensive. And it's like I feel like Sekiro is the perfect example of an offensive defensive game. Your
Yeah,
offense,
people don't yeah, the people don't
yeah.
I don't think people understand that game. Is
Yeah,
parrying is attacking in that game. Like people
exactly.
we said that back or when we were talking about it when I did my playthrough of it. That was like one of the first things I said when it all clicked is that parrying is attacking. Like swinging your weapon is obviously attacking too, but you're doing it in a different way, you know?
Yeah. And
Because
it's interesting
you're not hitting their stagger bar necessarily when you swing your sword, you know?
exactly. Exactly. You using their offense as a means to defeat them. So that is your
Yeah.
offense. Their offense is your offense. And it's
Yeah.
interesting you say that because that's how Rise of Ronin tries to work. This is why I say it
Mm.
tries to do things right. So your parry button is not on your block button. Your parry button is an actual attack.
Okay.
So when you parry, you have a couple of frames at the
It's
beginning of
fucking
this.
weird.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's like say your regular attack button is square, right? You do all your combos with square and everything like that, right?
Mm. Mhm.
Your triangle button is like your special move or whatever your heavy move, but your heavy move is also your parry. So you press triangle, you got at the beginning of your triangle, you have a first couple of frames that are your parry window. That's your parry window,
Yeah.
and then you can parry when you press triangle. So that's how that game works. And there's a completely different button for block. Whereas Wulong, I believe your block button is on your parry.
Yeah.
Um, but that's what they try to do. They try to make your parry be your offensive move and
Yeah.
Rise of Ronin. But like I said, in Sekiro, it just works a little bit differently because it is your block button. So I think people feel like that's where it comes into play. But there are certain times where you can't block, you have to dodge, or you have to parry. Because if you block the string of attacks, then your stamina bar is gonna go out and you're gonna get you know damaged. Um,
Right.
so I don't know. Um it's just weird that people really don't understand that game. It's kind of weird that people still don't understand what Souls games are. They fundamentally don't understand what it is. I actually don't consider uh it is an action game, but it's so more methodical with its action that it's almost like I can't really call it an action game. Like I don't know what to call a Souls game. That's why I just call it a Souls game. Because when I think of action, I think of like God of War. I think of Devil May Cry. I think of Neo. I think of Nier. Those are like
Right.
action games, right? When I play
Well, there's not a lot
Souls,
of flash to Souls, dude. Like
yeah,
it looks really dumb when you watch somebody play it. Like, like the animations aren't anything flashy generally. I'd say with Elden Ring, like they've definitely evolved that over time.
yeah,
Elden Ring
yeah,
is definitely got a lot more flash to it than Dark Souls 1 does.
yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Um, but it's just weird, man. You know what's funny? I was playing when I first played Monster Hunter, I was looking for games like Monster Hunter and Dark Souls popped up.
Oh. No, it's
Uh,
like Monster Hunter. Ooh.
and
Uh,
you know where the comparison came from? The difficulty. The stamina bar that you have in Monster Hunter
what?
and the difficulty. That's where the comparisons came at.
What?
And hey man, I'm just telling you how I see it. That's where the this is what I
I
first
would
this
argue
is
the actual combat the way combat plays out is more comparative than either of those two things that you just mentioned. Like
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
but you
know.
gotta think this is like 2008. So this is
Yeah,
when
true.
both this is when both of the games were kind of in their infancy stage. I mean, obviously, Monster Hunter fans don't kill me like, "Yeah, what do you mean infancy stage?" Okay, Monster Hunter wasn't as popular as it is now in 2008. Like, let's be fucking for real with
It only been
ourselves.
around for what, like 4, 6 years?
What, Monster Hunter? No, Monster Hunter's been around for years, bro.
No. I mean, by that point in time,
Oh
2008.
yeah. It's only
Which is
been
kind
around
of
for about
crazy to think
4.
about, dude. That's insane, actually, to think about that.
I think that game came out in 2004. I think Monster Hunter is 20 years old, bro.
That's it. Like, dude, 2004. Because I remember when Try came out on a Wii, and it like
Yeah,
Monster Hunter already at that point was huge, like as a
yeah,
series, not in the West, but it was like this huge Japanese like. In
thing,
Japan,
yeah.
Monster Hunter was huge. It was like
That was
described
the
that way, and
main
it only been
reason.
around for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that was the main reason I wanted to
Crazy.
go to Japan because I really wanted to play. I was playing the PSP versions of Monster Hunter, like Monster Hunter Freedom Unite,
Hmm.
and everything like
Yeah,
that. And those games didn't have online. They had peer to peer, but not like online.
yeah, definitely.
And the only way, and they said, and a lot of American people were complaining about it, but they said you have to understand, Japan people literally just walk out in the street, and there are hundreds of people playing Monster Hunter.
Oh my
And I'm like,
god.
that's just so fucking cool.
Yeah,
Like they'll be taking train rides home and stuff like that. Because Japan is very on their public transportation
yeah, right.
shit. So they don't really drive. They drive cars, but like out in the countryside, that's where people have cars at. Like if you live in the major cities, like you're not driving a car. You don't need to drive a car.
Yeah,
Or whatever. But yeah, Monster Hunter did come out in 2004. So it's officially been 20 years since it came out. It released in March 11th,
yeah.
2004. So it's officially 20
Um,
years.
Dark Souls 1 came out in 2011, by the way. I think
Really? I
Demon
thought it was
Souls. Yeah,
2008.
nope. I think that was Demon Souls.
Demon Souls. Okay.
Hold on, let me make sure. Demon Souls came out 2009 was Demon
Okay.
Souls. And then it was a couple years.
All right.
Do
Yeah.
you remember this is random, but do you remember the cover for Dark Souls 3
Yeah.
with the knight on it
Holding the sand.
holding the
Oh,
sand and dropping it?
yeah.
I always looked at that cover as him giving you a thumbs up. That's what it looks like. And then I realized he was just letting sand fall through his hand, and he just had the thumb pressed at the top of his fist or whatever. But it kind of just looks like a thumbs up. He's like giving you and he's like the head is like kind of tilted towards you, like from the perspective of somebody looking at the box.
Oh
He's
my
like kind of
god.
like looking at you from the side. So he's like, hey. I always looked at it that way. I don't know why.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Yep, that's probably where we should end the podcast. But hey man, just trying to be positive. Dark Souls is a very dark, stressful game series. So
You know,
all right,
I think,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I think my final conclusion is, um, there are very specific, like you said, combat cadences. I think camera angles play a big role. The way the level was designed and everything of that nature, um, to make a Souls game. Um, and I really think we should. I don't know
chill
if we.
on fucking comparing everything to Souls.
Yeah, because even we do it, and I think we do it because it's just so ingrained in society or the gaming society right now. Um, but when I say Stellar Blade is like a Souls like game, that's what it plays like to me. Like I'm not saying it just to be an asshole or whatever. It legitimately plays like a and like
I don't disagree. I think when I played the demo, I think what I said is like it's kind of halfway between like a Souls game and like a character action game. It's
yeah,
not. It's probably leaning more towards the Soul side, but there is a combo system in the game. Like there is comboing in the game, which
yeah,
Souls doesn't really have that.
yeah. And
Um,
I think to me it's a more slower version of Neo.
yeah,
That's how I feel when I played the game. I feel like if you want a faster version of this game, just go play Neo, and you will have a ton of fun. Like
yeah,
because Neo has different abilities and the combo strings and all that shit like that, and
Different weapons.
different weapons and all that bullshit. Like that shit. That game to me, it's very when you call it. I think that's why I get so offended because when you call it a Souls like, you're stripping everything that the game has to offer.
Right, you're making the
Dark,
game less unique
yeah, like
by
that
calling
Dark
it a
Souls.
Souls like.
That Dark Souls does not have. Like
Well,
this
you're also
game,
discouraging people from playing a game that they might like when they don't like
yeah,
Souls games. That's the issue I take with it is by describing everything this way, like comparing all these games to Souls games, you're potentially like hurting a game's audience by describing it that way to people, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Because I don't think Stellar Blade is going to be anywhere near as difficult as any Souls game, you know?
yeah,
Um, like I didn't get that impression from the demo, honestly. It definitely feels like a very manageable game to play. Like I mentioned, I beat the first boss in my first try, like the boss in the demo in my first try. So it's like not that I'm sure it gets harder later, but that's generally not how Souls games are. The early bosses are usually the hard one, like super hard, you know, because you have no tools at your disposal.
yeah.
So
No, I agree.
like
I
Neo's
think
like that. The first boss of Neo 1 is fucking brutal, bro. Like, oh my god, it's like a hard filter in that game for people, you know? Um that
and they
fucking
definitely made it
motherfucker on the boat.
easier. They
Yeah.
definitely made it easier throughout the entire games. Team Ninja did.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think yeah, I think even calling Stellar Blade like a Souls like kind of strips away all the stuff that it has to offer. And I apologize for doing that. When I talk about the Souls, like I just think the initial movements that you get are very like slow, sluggish, and all that other stuff like that. And that may build up over time. Um, but like Neo out the gate, you're fast. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Um,
You have combos available to you
you have
immediately.
yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I just feel like that's why when that game gets called a Souls, like I get really offended because, like you said, it's more so an ARPG. But then I don't want to call it that because people are like, oh, it's like Diablo. Ugh, I don't want to play. I don't even like Diablo. And it's like, well,
Like it
ha-
doesn't like the structure of the game, the loot system and everything like that,
yeah,
and even the skill trees and stuff, that is way more reminiscent of Diablo in like ARPG style games than anything Souls has to me.
yeah,
um but it's like the gameplay part of it and the perspective and the camera that in the level design is more evocative of Souls for sure.
exactly,
But that's why describing the game as a Souls like is I just like I feel like you're like you said, you're stripping out so many elements that aren't that, you know, like the whole skill system, the loot system, the character building and everything, and it's just like you're stripping all that out when you call it a Souls like to me. um so I don't know.
yeah. But that's all I got. That's all I got. I know we tried doing a little bit, but yeah,
Cool. I mean, I'm the one who started the topic, so yeah, we've been kind of meandering. We went from Deadpool to fucking Dark Souls,
yeah.
but hey, man, just having a conversation here. So, all right, everybody. Well, we're gonna end it here. If you like this episode, please like the show, review the show, subscribe to the show, and whatever feed you're listening to it on, and please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at ThunderNut01, and the show is at the Players Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And that is going to be it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We will see you next week.